and welcome to the Keep It Moving virtual career fair. I'm your host for today, Amoy Harriet. The job market has been jolted since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, as we've all seen. Many businesses have had to close their doors and let go employees, creating a spike in unemployment like we have never seen before. This can be terrifying, especially for young people like us who will be looking for jobs today. But this program here today is not only to encourage you to keep it moving, but also give you the chance to land that job you have been looking for the longest while. As we speak, Career and Employment Services is hosting a virtual job fair just for you, viewers and students. There is still time for you to put on that blazer and find the job you have been looking for. Here is how you can join that job fair. If you are a student, check your email for more information. And if you are not a student, just send an email to careerservices@ncu.edu.jm for more information. While that is happening, however, we are here to equip you with everything you need to be the ultimate professional that you've always wanted to be. This career fair is being supported by the campus right here, and to share greetings with us is Dr. Newton Cleghorn, after which Miss Shelly Cameron will bring us an overview of today's event. I now turn over to Mr. Cleghorn.
Good morning, everyone. It's an awesome pleasure and opportunity to greet you today on behalf of the Division of Student Services, under which Career and Employment Services is housed. This virtual career fair is a clear indication that in order for us to survive the pandemic, in order for us to have fewer bouts and cases of the COVID-19 disease, we have to stay away from the maddening crowd and go virtual. And I'm so grateful for the power of technology and the gifts of those who are empowered to make it happen. So this morning, on behalf of the Division of Student Services, we want to congratulate Mrs. Shelly Cameron for her prowess, for her ingenuity, for her giftedness, for her creativity in making this happen. And to you, our viewers and listeners, we trust that today for you will be one that will take you notches higher in an understanding of how critical it is for persons to be employed, for persons to have jobs, for persons to be positioned in this virtual environment. And so may you have a blessed day today. May all of our speakers and our presenters excel and do well. And thank you so much for joining us in this virtual career fair 2021. God bless you.
I am delighted to welcome you to our first ever virtual career fair 2021. These are no ordinary times in the history of the world in which we live. And today we gather under the theme, Keep It Moving. We have invited the best of the best to share with us today strategies for how we may do just that. Keep it moving in a world that demands adaptability, flexibility, and innovation. I'm also very thrilled to have business organizations who have agreed to join us to conduct interviews with the hopes of identifying employees for their respective organizations. Information sessions will be conducted as well. Further information about that has already been shared with you via email. May you today be informed, be empowered, and inspired. I thank you.
individual path we undertake is the difficulty in understanding and enacting purpose, which is usually expressed in our career choices. Whether it be centered around being employed to an organization or expressing an entrepreneurial outlook, the difficulty is felt. One thing is clear. The consequences of not finding your purpose include chronic lingering dissatisfaction, an absence of inner peace, and a sense of not being fully in sync with your inner self. That is because your true inner self knows that your life's purpose is out of sync with your outer life. Boys achieving a man-like stature with remaining childlike characteristics, and girls achieving frame of ladylike pulchritude but lacking the attributes of a wife, are all because of a lack of purpose. The easiest thing for anyone to do, which is often the decision made, is one surrounding living in the moment. The distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. Einstein. People like us who believe in physics know that the distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. Time, in other words, he said, is an illusion. Many physicists since have shared this view that true reality is timeless, but my guess is not one of them. He says he thinks that time is real and that the laws of physics may not be as permanent as we think they are. In fact, he says that the law of nature evolve and change over time, and the real existence of time may give us a better understanding of the universe. Living in the moment is a mere flow of recurring space with nothing special being connected to it, which estimates the meaningless living. Which means that the lives that are lived in the moment are meaningless and will amount to nothing. If life has no purpose, then what is the point of living? Mental logic seemingly demands that we argue our way out of meaningless living to find meaning, but that is a trap. Cognitive fusion is a process of allowing verbal or symbolic knowledge to dominate over past or the rest of our psychology at the expense of other useful forms of input. The problem-solving mind hides cognitive fusion from view because that is the modus operandi. What the mind knows, it knows literally. And staying inside literal knowing is just another name for the domination of verbal knowledge over a whole of who we are. If the mind knows meaninglessness, it lives a life of crime and violence, hatred and heartache. It views minorities and the vulnerable as less than human. It assumes that the downtrodden of the world must deserve their fate. It is blinkered and dogmatic. It would rather electrocute itself than spending time in its own thoughts. It is vain and overconfident. It is a moral hypocrite. It is filled with potential trolls. It favors ineffective leaders with psychopathic traits. It is attracted to people with dark personality traits, and therefore it is doomed. All hope is not lost, however, for here at Northern Caribbean University, we pride ourselves in developing the whole man from a standpoint of character, creativity, and competence. Your decision to be part of this propitious occasion will introduce you to the platform from which these values can become part of your experience. It is therefore on this premise that I greet you richly and welcome you to climbing the summit of your success.
Thank you both for sharing your greetings with our hopeful professionals today. If you are just joining us, this is the virtual career fair put on by Career Services. A big shout out to those of you joining over on YouTube at Northern Caribbean University. I don't know about you, but I am excited for today's program. Keep it moving is our theme for today. We want to encourage you in whatever situation you may find yourself in to adapt to whatever is thrown your way so that you can find success on the other side of that challenge. Our first presenter this morning is Tishauna Mullings, joining us all the way from UK. Here to give her a formal introduction is our USM President-elect, Neil Brevet. I now turn over to Mr. Brevet.
Thank you. Tishauna Mullings is a serial social entrepreneur and master personal development trainer with over 10 years of experience in training and development, who emerged from St. Thomas, the parish recorded as the poorest in Jamaica, surmounting mammoth challenges to become a notable Jamaican leader. On the journey to achieve her social mission, to help rural youth become global competitive, she has achieved many accolades, to include Governor General Award recipient for the Parish of St. Thomas 2015, Northern Caribbean University Graduating Class Valedictorian of 2012, National Farm Queen of 2014, Delegate for the Barack Obama's Young Leaders of the Americas Initiative 2016, a two-time nominee and winner of Prime Minister's Youth Award for a track record in community and national development, and currently serves as brand ambassador for the Bank of Jamaica's National Financial Inclusion Strategy. As founder and manager of the NexxStepp, that is NexxStepp educational service, she works with over 500 students annually through her teaching and mentorship program. She also works as a training consultant for Heart Trust NTA in areas such as a business readiness skills, customer service, and professional development. Her work landed her organization an award for rural regeneration from USAID and JN Foundation in 2018. She now specializes in corporate training, especially to assist millennials to perform at optimum levels. She continues to excel in this course of work. In May 2019, she received an award for being one of the 30 most influential young leaders under 30 of Caribbean American heritage from the Institute of Caribbean Studies. She is the pioneer for the MasterPeace Club in Jamaica, an international peace-building organization. She also serves the St. Thomas as secretary of the St. Thomas Chamber of Commerce, amongst many other personally initiated parish development efforts. Annually, she continues to achieve awards for her work in rural regeneration through social entrepreneurship. Named Top Young Entrepreneur for 2016 by Television Jamaica's All Angle, being selected as main speaker, African Youth Leader Summit, which is the biggest youth leadership summit in Africa, Marrakech, Morocco, in September 2017. Selected by the Council of Africa as main speaker for the Pan-African Youth Summit in Ethiopia. And she's also been selected to represent Jamaica at 60 Commonwealth Youth Leaders Conference in Glasgow, Scotland, 2016. She also participates in the Bud Stewart Community Awards Young Achievers category 2013. She's a winner of the NCU Entrepreneurship Competition at NCU 2012, and as well as the most outstanding community student for the NCU school year 2009 to 2010. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a very warm virtual welcome to our first presenter, a woman of the soil, Miss Tishauna Mullings.
All right. Thank you so much for such warm welcome. And I'm being welcomed to my very home, the Northern Caribbean University, where greatness really began for Tishauna Mullings. And we are talking about keeping it moving. I really consider it an honor to be asked to be the opening speaker for this event. I remember myself in the university going to the Career Services Department on several occasions saying, look, I need help to design my career path and to get on my way. And here I am today talking about keeping it moving. Now, I like to be very, very practical in my presentations. Keeping it moving sounds all exciting, but how do you do that? But just before I jump into it, can we set a little bit of a context? We are living in a transitory period. We are transiting from one decade to the next. We're transiting out of a COVID-19 era into another era. And instead of looking at all the struggles and challenges as a focus, I look at this as an exciting time. And that is what I want to invite us to do throughout this presentation. We are living in an exciting time. When I asked your organizers what to focus on, they said, you know what, focus on pivoting. We want our students to know that when there are unexpected changes in the world, then we must pivot both in our personal lives and even in our careers. So this is my mantra to you today. This is what I urge you to do, pivot and not pause, all right? So everything went from being in person to online, but we don't have to pause. We can find a way to make it happen, just as how this career fair has this online component. Now, when we talk about pivoting in our career, is this really possible? Yes, it is, and there is a term for it. This is called future-proofing your career, where you take those extra steps to prepare yourself for a changing world of work, especially one that relies heavily on technology. All right, so what skills do you really need to have to make sure that you're future-proofing your career and you're making this transition? Now, let's have a little fun. I wish I could see the chat, but I want you to unscramble this word. I'm going to tell you 3 skills that you must have as you future-proof your career and keep it moving, okay? So type in the chat, you're with us here on YouTube, type in the chat what word this is. This is one of the skills that is required to future-proof your career and keep it moving. So now this is teamwork. And in university, I remember the days when I used to get group work and feel like, oh, I can't stand group work. I can't deal with group work. That's where my mind was at that time. But then I realized in the world of work, you consistently work in teams. In 2020, 2020, 2021 and beyond, there's something taking off that's called the shared economy. On YouTube, we're sharing content, we're building a community, and this allows for those persons who want to share ads and build their businesses to do so on YouTube as we build that shared economy. Now, here's another word. Guess what this word is? What this skill is that you must have to future-proof your career and keep it moving. It is flexibility. I don't have to label that too much because you see what's happening in COVID-19. Here's the last one, and it's quite similar to the one that I shared before. Get those fast fingers going and share it in the chat. What word is this? Unscramble this word. If you've just typed adaptability, you've got it. But how is this going to be possible? I'm going to share that with you. But just before we jump to that, we often think that because technology is taking over, then machines is going to take everything over and human skills is going to be of less importance. Not true. Out of the Future of Jobs report, they stated that based on projections, in terms of human versus machines, lots of skills will still be needed that must be carried out by human beings, such as reasoning, such as interacting, communicating. So if you thought computers will take over everything and I don't need to sharpen my soft skills, you are wrong. And I invite you to take some time, at least once a month, to read the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs report. It tells you, it forecasts jobs that are upcoming in the next couple of years and also guides you to position yourself and your skills. Now, let's take a couple steps back. All right, I've read the Future of Jobs report. I've seen what's going to happen. How do I position myself when I don't even know my purpose, when I'm not even sure what I want? I don't know where to find the sweet spot. Now, the sweet spot, AKA your purpose, is found in the middle of your passion. What is it that you're passionate about doing? And you're living in the 21st century where anything that you're passionate about, you can find an avenue to make that career real. I met a girl one time who was into pig rearing, and I said to her, I would want to get into pig rearing. I would want to get into rearing chickens. Let's talk about rearing chickens, right? This is an NCU stage. Now, when it comes to rearing chickens, where can I find an ebook that will give me the step-by-step process as to how to do that? If I'm planting pepper, where can I find the step-by-step process to plant peppers? Okay? So that's how you find your passion. Figure out the things that you like to do, and then slowly look at how can I connect my passions to what is happening around me. What is your mission? What is your vocation? And what is your profession? So in the middle of that, answering the questions, what are my strengths? What does the world need? And what I will get paid for is where you find the sweet spot, which is your purpose. Now, if you want a simple step-by-step process to break it down, to find your purpose, just by looking at the skills that you have, looking at your current aspirations. If you're in university, you're already trending towards a certain passion. Now, if you're an aspiring psychotherapist, an aspiring physicist, I want you to think about that and document it, write it down. In God we trust, in others we document. Dr. Kelly taught me that quote, in God we trust, in others we document, including yourself. So I want you to write this vision down. I'm an aspiring blank who will serve the world by doing. So tell us what you will serve the world doing, and to create impact by doing what. Let me give you a quick example using my life. While I was in university, what I would have said, I'm an aspiring social entrepreneur who will serve the world using my skills in training, speaking, and mentorship to impact the world by helping others to find their passion, unlock those passions to impact the world, okay? So I want you to take a screenshot of this and challenge yourself to write this down. Now, after you've figured out your passion, your purpose, you've written everything down, now you're thinking about, how do I navigate? How do I keep it moving when things get really difficult? Let me introduce you to this term called anti-fragility. Now, if you should look at this on a continuum, moving from fragile, where you're easily broken, to resilient, where when things happen, you're basically able to stay in place, but just staying there in place, to anti-fragility, this is now a step up where you use the challenges to unlock greatness. So whenever you're challenged, you embrace the challenge and you're searching for the growth within that challenge. As a matter of fact, you're even more open to challenges because you now understand that there is goodness in challenge and you're actually seeking that goodness. So when you're at a point where you feel like you're flowing, you feel like, look, I need another level of challenge. Now you're seeking challenges and then seeking to extract the growth from challenges. And this is what anti-fragility is. And if you're wondering, can I really be anti-fragile? Yes, absolutely yes. I'm talking to you. Yes, you. So you're going to have yearnings. Don't just merely exist. Have something that you're yearning for. And then upon establishing the things that you're yearning for, look around you. There are many, many opportunities to unlock those yearnings. And the uniqueness that you carry, it doesn't matter who is in that career already or who is doing it already. The world is waiting for your uniqueness. And I believe, and I'm believing in you, I believe that you are a star, and I invite you to shine today by, one, becoming studious. Anything that you envision to be great at, study that craft and become the best in that craft. I'm going to invite you to be tenacious. It's not going to be easy once you have established that. I'm going to invite you to be ambitious. Don't just dream some small, whimsical dream, but dream big dreams. Have BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goal. And as you dream and you pray about those dreams, believe that they're possible. And you'll need to be able to stay resilient throughout. Now, I just told you earlier that we're seeking to step up from just resilience to anti-fragility. But before stepping to anti-fragility, you must first learn to be resilient. And let me leave you with this practical tool you can use. Whenever you're aspiring to do anything, there will be obstacles along the road. Do not shy away from the obstacles. Embrace them, write them down. So I invite you, write down your obstacles, and for each obstacle, establish an intermediate objective. What is this? This is the exact opposite to what the obstacle is. So if you want to get into university, if you're watching this and you're not yet a university student, you want to get into university, your obstacle may be, I don't have the finance. The intermediate objective is, I have the finance to enter university and to pay for my 4 years. Now, in the next column, you'll have your action plan. What's your action plan? You can seek scholarships, you can do work and travel programs, you can work while studying, and you're going to continuously just put those action steps and work your way out to achieve those BABs, to achieve your intermediate objectives. So I invite you as of today to embrace those obstacles and use these tools to break through those obstacles and keep it moving. I want to leave you with this. You may have heard, seeing is believing, but I invite you to embrace this thought. Believing is seeing. Before you can make anything happen, you must first believe that it is possible. I want to leave it there today and say thank you. And if you want to connect with me, please feel free to connect with me. Share those career goals and anything that you would have documented with me on Instagram at Tishauna Indomitable Mullings, or email me at lifecoachmullings@gmail.com. Keep it moving. Thank you.
Teamwork, adaptability, flexibility. This is what you need to keep it moving. I especially loved when Miss Mullings said, pivot, don't pause. I take that one very, very seriously. Thank you so much for such a great presentation. I see a lot of people in the chat sharing that they're learning a lot, and I absolutely love that. Just a reminder to you all watching, our virtual job fair component of the career fair is happening right now. It is what you are watching. What that means is you have a chance to be interviewed for a position, and you just may leave today with a job. Stay tuned. You can find more information about this in your emails regarding the platform that will be used to facilitate these interviews and the time frame in which they will be conducted. It is not difficult to keep it moving, ladies and gentlemen. But if you don't want to take my word for it, listen to this testimony from a past student in this feature we call Alumni Bite.
My name is Lydia Miles Saunders, a proud graduate of Northern Caribbean University class of 2008 from the Department of Biology and Applied Sciences. It is said one thing in life is constant, and that is change. This is true in many regards. Throughout my tenure at NCU, I worked in the custodial department, in the library, as a laboratory instructor and as a colporteur. There in my early years, I learned the benefit of adapting to suit the demands of life in a noble way. I graduated with a degree in medical technology and an associate degree in biology. A few years later, while holding a full-time job, I also completed my master's degree at the University of the West Indies in medical microbiology. I later completed my studies to become a doctor at the same institution, all this time utilizing my skills of baking and writing to help to finance my way through school. In this changing world with all its uncertainty, I encourage you to use what is embedded inside you, waiting to be found. Let's keep the greatness we discovered on the hill moving forward.
Welcome back to the Keep It Moving Virtual Career Fair. It's time for Q&A with Paul Brunson. Paul Carrick Brunson is a serial entrepreneur, television host, and columnist whose specialty lies in teaching others. An internationally recognized expert in interpersonal relationships, personal development, and entrepreneurship, he currently serves as a featured business columnist for USA Today. He is also the co-host of UK Celebs Go Dating television show, co-host of UK's Married at First Sight, and host of the Better with Paul live podcast. Major media outlets throughout the world such as Good Morning America and the New York Times in the US, The Guardian and Sunday Brunch in the UK, and the Jamaica Observer and TVJ in Jamaica have sought Paul's insight on everything from finding love to pursuing entrepreneurial passion. Named as a top voice on LinkedIn and the world's most influential matchmaker by the Matchmaking Institute, Oprah Winfrey said herself that Paul is much more than a matchmaker. The heart of his work is centered on impacting lives through mentorship and developing a new generation of servant leaders with a desire to change the world. Paul is the founder and chair of Give Love, Build Hope, a nonprofit organization dedicated to transforming schools in the rural areas of the Caribbean. A proud second-generation son of Jamaica, Paul's greatest achievement, husband and father. When he's not serving the world, he's serving his family, likely with a drink in one hand and a good book in the other. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Q&A with Paul Brunson.
Must say I'm pretty excited for this segment. Welcome to our virtual career expo, Mr. Brunson.
I tell you what, it is an honor to be here. I like the intro.
Yes,
can someone send that intro to me?
Yes, we are so delighted to have you. How are you? Let's lighten up the mood. How are you doing?
Oh man, I'm feeling great. Feeling good. I'm caffeinated, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got my exercise on earlier today. Got my meditation in. So I'm ready and I'm excited because this is a very important topic.
Yes.
It's connected to money, which is very important to me. So I'm ready. I'm ready for you.
All right, I absolutely love that. I do agree with you that it's a very, very needed conversation at this time for our students. Now, our students have shared a number of questions that they'd like for you to answer. But we had to narrow them down in the interest of time. So are you ready to, start answering?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go. So a question from a student by the name of Amelia. She's asking, with no background in entrepreneurship, I feel afraid to enter this world of entrepreneurship. What can I do to mitigate my fears?
Yeah. So the first thing I'll say is that we all feel fear, especially when we're endeavoring to become an entrepreneur. So no, that's natural, right? But then you have to think about, okay, how do you get through fear? How do you fight through fear? Well, fear is this perception of the unknown. You have no idea what's going to happen in this unknown, right? So when you launch your business, and what's going to happen, you have no clue. So in order to relieve that fear, I suggest the following things. I'll give you 3 suggestions. Okay. The first is you want to get around someone who has successfully started a company, right? Because that person can give you some guidance, it can give you some instruction on how to successfully start a company. So you want to get around someone who has had that experience. Secondly, is you want to put yourself in the company of others who are attempting to become an entrepreneur. There are thousands of entrepreneurial Facebook groups and meetup groups of people who are attempting to launch a business. So you want to put yourself in that because you'll get inspiration along the side of someone else. And then last but not least, you want to get some aspiration. And how do you get aspiration? You want to be a part of podcasts, want to be a part of IG Lives, a part of Clubhouse chats, hearing people who have been entrepreneurs for years, very successful, and you can aspire to be like them. So you want to change the content that you listen to, you want to change the people that you're with, and then you want to change the mentorship that you have. If you do all 3 of those, you'll definitely alleviate the fear.
All right, thank you very much for that. And I must say that I absolutely love when you said fear is the perception of the unknown. A lot of times we fear the things and we don't know what the end result is going to be. And that's the reason why, we don't want to take that leap of faith. But I have to ask you the second question, which is from another student by the name of Alex. This person is asking, I have recently heard that most small businesses fail within the first year. How can I ensure that I am not one of the statistics if I choose to start my own business?
Ooh, Alex, I love this question. I love it, love it, love it. So, yes, Alex, you're correct. most businesses fail, but not within the first year. So most global studies I've seen, especially if you look at Kaufman, that does the most extensive surveys around small business failures, you'll see that most small businesses end up terminating within 3 to 5 years, right? Now, your question though is, how do you make sure that's not you, right? Because nobody wants to start and then go out of business. Well, let me ask a question, right? And actually, let me ask, I'm gonna ask you a question, okay? What do you think the #1 reason is why new businesses fail? What do you think that is?
You're asking me?
Absolutely.
All right,
absolutely.
so I'm going to say fear, because we were just talking about fear, and the thing about fear that I believe is sometimes can hold you back. It sometimes can limit you. You therefore be limiting yourselves because you're thinking, I don't know what the end result is going to be. I don't know if I'm capable of getting this job done. And with that fear in your mind, because a lot of times what you tell yourself is what actually comes to fruition, you know. So that fear kind of holds you back and can contribute to failure. But at the end of the day, I must say, Mr. Brunson, I do believe that failure is sometimes inevitable. So.
Well, can I say this? Your response was very compelling, right? Very compelling. I like you were energetic. It was compelling, right? Makes me want to be a believer.
Yes.
However, that is not the #1 reason
I'd like to hear.
Businesses fail, right? A lot of people think it's because of money. A lot of people think because it's a poor team, right? A lot of people will say it's business scenarios. No. The #1 reason why new businesses fail around the world is lack of market need. Lack of market need. What does that mean? It means that your product, nobody wants it, right? Most people who start businesses, what they do is they create something and they say, oh, you know what? I could really use this. And then they check with their mama. And you know, your mama is always gonna love you, right? So that she can say, yeah, baby, that's a great idea. No, well, it's a terrible idea. But she's, yeah, baby, go ahead, do it. It's a great idea. The fact of the matter is just because you like the idea and your mama likes the idea doesn't mean that the market needs what it is that you're creating. There's a whole lot of junk out here. People are selling junk. So to Alex's question, how do you prevent yourself from failing? Well, the first thing that you need to do is you need to determine, is there a need for the product or is there a need for the service? This is the reason, this is what's called diligence, research. Before you launch your business, you need to do research. You need to determine, does the market actually need my product? Do people truly want to purchase it? Because if it's just you and your mama that want to buy it, your business will fail within a year.
All right, I like that. I'm taking notes, Mr. Brunson. Make sure that the business that I'm going to start is something that persons need. All right, noted. So another question from another student by the name of Sean. Sean is asking, I'm interested in a career path that my family does not support. How can I convince them to support what I'm doing even though they don't accept it?
You know, this one hits home because I, you know, from a Jamaican family, went into finance, so became an investment banker. Everyone in my family was super proud of me. You know, my grandparents especially, very proud of me. And I decided to give up that career as an investment banker to become a matchmaker, to become Hitch. You know what I mean? My family looked at me like I was crazy. They wanted to disown me, to be honest with you. My friends also looked at me like I was crazy and they wanted to disown me. But this is where you have to be self-aware and why you need to have conviction and passion in what it is that you're pursuing. If you have conviction and passion in what it is that you're pursuing and it's legal, I say continue. Right? You continue, even if that means you're not getting the support of your mother, you're not getting the support of your father, you're not getting the support of your grandparents or your friends and family, because guess what? You have one life. You have one life. That's all you get is one life. And the quality of your life is based on the quality of your decisions. But now, here's an interesting philosophical thing. How do you determine the quality of your decisions? How do you determine if your decision is good or bad? Well, it's based on your values your passion, and your conviction. And as long as you are making decisions in the favor, right, in the support of your values, in the support of your passions, in the support of your conviction, the quality of your decisions will be high. But when you make decisions based on what other people want you to do, so therefore it's not within your best interest, it's not within your values, it's not within your passion, then the quality of your decisions are poor. So remember, if you want to have a high quality life, right, make high quality decisions. You make high quality decisions based on your values, your conviction, and your passion.
All right, thank you very much for that. I'm going to ask you this follow-up question because something just popped up in my head when you said, you know, follow your passion, pursue what it is that you so desire. But Mr. Brunson, what if I'm passionate about starting a business about a particular thing, but when I do a little research, I find that probably not a lot of persons need this. How then do I proceed? Because you said that before starting a small business, you know, ensure that this service is something that persons need. But it's something that I'm passionate about. Let me use just a random example. I want to start making cookies. Now, I know that a lot of persons love cookies, I myself included. But say, for example, there's so many other cookie creators out there. But it's something that I am passionate about. This is what I'm passionate about. This is what I want to pursue. But not a lot of persons need this. How then do I proceed to stick to my dream, but at the same time ensuring that it is successful?
This is a great question. There's a whole book written on this by Eric Ries, and the book is called Lean Startup. And what Eric Ries, who is, you know, this famous Silicon Valley entrepreneur, he coined this phrase called the lean startup. And the whole premise of this theory is to answer your question. And that is, if you're passionate about something, right? And you're an entrepreneur, so you're making cookies in this example. Well, an entrepreneur, what do? We solve problems. So then you go to the market, right? And you look at the individual people, the consumers in the market. So your cookies are going to solve problems. Maybe it's going to make someone happy, right? Maybe that's the problem it's going to solve. Well, if there's no market need, if there's not enough people who want to buy your cookies, does that mean that you give up the cookie business and you're passionate about it? Absolutely not. What that means is you take that feedback and then you edit it ever so slightly and you pivot your product. So maybe it turns out that nobody wants cookies, but everyone wants brownies. So you make brownies. Or everyone wants cake. So you make cake. Or everyone wants gumdrops, so you make gumdrops. What the lean startup, and the reason why this is such a powerful concept, is it saves entrepreneurs time, money, and pain. Because what you do is, instead of building a full product or a full, like, and this is a great example, you said cookies. Most people who want to start a cookie business will go manufacture hundreds of cookies, buy hundreds of pounds of flour and hundreds of pounds of sugar, and start selling it. But what the lean startup says is no, make 1 or 2 cookies. Go out to the market, see if people devour it, see if they really love it. If they don't love it, well, then maybe you have to change your ingredients a little bit and you make just 1 or 2 more cookies. Or maybe you make 1 or 2 brownies, then you test it out, right? You keep testing, editing, testing, editing, testing, editing. And then eventually you get a product that you're still passionate about that now fits in the marketplace. And by the way, you as a business owner, this is what you will continually do. I've built 3 businesses past $1 million in revenue. And through the lifetime of those businesses, we've always had to test, iterate, test, iterate, test, iterate. That's business. Test, iterate, redeploy. Test, iterate, redeploy. So that's how you do it.
All right, absolutely love that one. Thank you so much for the information. Now, another question from another student by the name of Lisa Marie. She's asking, what are some of the key principles that fresh graduates just leaving university can adopt heading into the world of work?
All right, this is such a great question. I'll just give you one because this one is so high at the top of my list. It's a little thing called social capital. What is social capital? In my opinion, social capital is the most important capital you could have. It's the most important thing you could have, especially as a new graduate. Now what is it? What it is we all are in a network, right? We're all connected. Right now, we're connected on whatever social media platform, Zoom, whatever, right? You're at different clubs, different organizations. You live in a community. You have Instagram friends, right? You have a network, and your network knows of you. They know, are you smart? Are you not smart? Or do you dress sharp? Do you not dress sharp? Do you follow through? Can you be trusted, right? All of these things, these characteristics make up your brand, your social capital. It makes up your brand. Your brand, we all have a brand. We all have a brand. Our brand is never what we say it is. It's only what other people say it is. Right now, everyone who's watching, everyone is looking at me. They're like, okay, this dude's got a turtleneck on. Oh my God, look, he's in jewelry. Like what, you have all of these ideas. Now, your ideas are my brand. Whatever you think of me is my brand. Now, here's how the social capital works, and here's what you should do, I think, as a graduate. You have to work on your brand. You have to elevate your brand. And you have to elevate your brand. When you elevate your brand, you have stronger social capital. And the reason why social capital is everything is because who knows you and who you know is truly your net worth, right? It's truly your net worth. Every job opportunity that you get mostly is going to come through your network. Every partnership that you get when you launch your business is going to come through your network. Every promotion that you get is going to be based on the relationships that you have in that company, your social capital, your personal brand, right? Everything that you get in life, for the most part, is going to come based on your social capital, your connection to the network. And that social capital is based on the perception of you, which is your brand. So that's the reason why I think as a new graduate, you have to be focused on this. You have to be bold. Like right now, you're hosting right now. You're displaying the fact that you are articulate. You have great oratory skills. I see you moving with the body movement, right? So people are watching and they're saying, "Wow, I like her presentation. She's strong. She's compelling, etc." Right? That becomes part of your brand. So as a new graduate, put yourself in opportunities like this. Put yourself in areas that could showcase your skills, that could showcase your talents, because ultimately who you know is everything. And I'll even go further, especially being in Jamaica, being in the Caribbean, it's even more important who you know. The social ladder is much harder to climb in Jamaica. I know this. And so the easiest way to climb up is going to be through who you know, your social capital.
All right, thank you very much for that. Now, we have other students who have a few other questions, but there's one that I'm very eager to ask. I'm just going to shoot it right about now. So, what would you say to students who just graduate university and find that it's taking them a time to, get to that area of success? For example, me pursuing journalism, we hear a lot of time that before you reach that stage in journalism, it takes you a while, it takes a couple of years. What do you have to say to those students who find that it's taking them a while?
Intern, apprentice, that's the number one thing. Two things happened in my career that changed it forever. I went to work for 2 billionaires. So you had the Oprah Winfrey quote. I worked for Oprah Winfrey for 3 years. And then I also worked for a Turkish billionaire for 5 years. Being able to work directly for these 2 billionaires changed my life. It gave me insights to how to build my personal brand and build a business like never before. It taught me more about the skills I need to develop. It gave me connections like never before. Now, you know how much I was paid working for both of them? Very little. Not much. You know what I mean? Not much. But I did it for the social capital. I did it for the lessons. I literally had to take a step back. I had to take many steps back to work for them, to be junior in their organizations. But what I learned was priceless, and it's now propelled me forward. So if you're in journalism, if you're in any category and you're not getting the success that you want, You need to find people who are successful at doing that, and you need to figure out, how can I be your assistant? How can I be your intern? How can I be your apprentice? Even if you're in Jamaica and they're in the UK, where I am right now, I'm in central London. You could, everyone works off of Zoom. Everyone works off of video conference and WhatsApp, right? You could be their assistant from at a distance as a journalist. You could be doing research for other journalists that are out here. You could be doing mock interviews with other journalists. Lots of journalists love to practice interviews, right? The point is that you want to get out here in the big world, because the world is flat, right? You can connect with everyone, become an apprentice, become an intern, become an assistant. I guarantee you it'll take your career to the next level.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Brunson. Now, my final question to you. Is there an essential difference between entrepreneurship today than 5 or 10 years ago?
I mean, the biggest difference between, and this is another great question. I mean, you all are really throwing out great questions. The biggest difference is you have to look at the economic landscape. 10, even 20, 30, 40 years ago, we actually had a middle class. And this is very true in Jamaica as well. You had a lower economic class, you had a middle class, and then you had the wealthy, right? That's the way it was 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. Today, guess what? There's really no middle class anymore. It's basically, now we live in a world that is the have and the have-nots. You are either on the low end of the socioeconomic totem pole, or you are on the high end. There's not much middle ground. So as an entrepreneur, never forget that. And that means that you now have to create products and services for one of the other. And where do you make the most money? Higher end, right? So if I was an entrepreneur 5, 10 years ago, I could make it for higher socioeconomic, I can make it for middle class people, I can make it for lower. But today, 100%, if you want to make money, I'm talking about real money, you want to create products and services for the wealthy, products and services for the haves, products and services for the high, for the higher on the totem pole. Now, what about everybody else? Well, you could still create products and services for everyone else, but if you are starting as an entrepreneur and you want to get success quickly, focus on creating products for the wealthy. You can create bigger profit margins, and then you could turn around and create for everyone else. So that's the biggest difference between today and just 5, 10 years ago.
Thank you so much for that information. I must say that everything that you presented this morning is food for thought, something that I myself, as well as viewers who are tuned in right now, will be able to take with them going forward into the future. As a young professional myself, I am always eager to hear from those persons who are, in the field that I want to pursue. I like to hear their views. I like to hear how did they get there. That's why I am grateful to have you speaking with us today, Mr. Brunson. So thank you so much for joining us this morning. Well, I think it's about afternoon right now where you are, right? So thank you so much for being here, and I'm very certain that our students and viewers, audience listening at home, will benefit in a very significant way from your answers that you presented today. We look forward to visiting you, for you to be visiting our campus real soon, after the pandemic, of course, has passed.
Well, I'll actually be there in November. So I wish, I'll be there in November. I wish everyone the best. And also, too, is I encourage, I support Jamaica above everything.
Yes.
So if there's ever anything I could do, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll do my best to support you. I wish everyone the best. Much respect.
Thank you so much for coming, and do have a great rest of the day.
All right, thank you. Take care.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are just getting started here at the Keep It Moving Virtual Career Fair. If you're just joining us, I am Amoy Harriot, and I will be with you for the rest of this event. I hope you're taking advantage of the opportunities for self-improvement that we are providing you with here today. You can take it going into the future, because I know you will definitely need it. The pandemic experience differs for each person. We've all seen it. Some have found it easy to adapt and thrive during this time, while others are fighting to the fatigue fatigue and feelings of isolation, like myself included, that come with each day of this pandemic. Students especially aren't shy in sharing how they are fighting through the online school. So, if you need a pick-me-up, take a listen to this song, Stones by Dale Honeygun, while we get our third presentation ready for you.
The candidates for the Department of Music and Fine Arts, please stand and approach the platform.
Dale Honeygun.
As we stood at the bank of a Red Sea, we knew not what we would do. We murmured, complained, doubted his name, but he had a plan to see us through. He put the rod of determination in our hand. We stretched it forth and walked on dry land. We turned our milestones into stepping stones, and with God our rock, He would guide us home toward Canaan land, where we long to be. These milestones are our stepping stones till we're stepping home to eternity. Jordan, with the promised land within view, but the current of life pushing down with its might was just the enemy, but we weren't fooled. He put the art of obedience in our hands. We stepped in and walked on dry land. We turned our
Yes, brother, watch him. Watch the boss. Watch the boss. Yes, youth. Watch the boss. You must graduate and get degree. I want to some boy. Do you think, boss? Proud of you. Yes, youth. Shake them hand. Shake it.
Hey guys, my name is Javon Thomas and I'm a recent graduate from the Department of Communication Studies here at NCU. Now, one of the things that I've learned, one of the hardest lessons that I've learned as a recent graduate is that you don't get jobs straight out of university. Usually employers are looking for persons with a lot of experience, and it's impossible to get 3 years experience while in university. So that stuff like that kind of leaves you with a lot of free time, and it can be very depressing, especially when you're sending out applications and you're not getting any callbacks, right? But the trick is to ensure that you keep it moving. And one of the major ways to do so, especially straight out of university and even the months after, is by preparing for the job interview, right? Most persons say that they're ready for a job, but they're not even ready for the interview. And I think that's a big mistake a lot of us make. We don't take time to prepare for the interview. So that's definitely number one on the list. Secondly is to start those personal projects. Usually when you have a job, a 9 to 5 or whatever ridiculous hours your employer gives you, you don't necessarily have time to work on those personal projects that you've been thinking about ever since you were a teenager. You're too tired from work. When you get home, you just want to relax, put your feet up, watch some TV and go to bed, right? So I would advise that while you are looking for work, you put in the work on some of your personal projects. Try to do whatever you can to reach your goals, even if it's stuff like taking online classes. It really helps, right? Since I've graduated, I've done quite a few classes online. Udemy.com, there's master classes, and everyone knows the University of YouTube. So you guys should definitely consider doing those kinds of stuff just to keep it moving, keep yourself occupied, so that you could be ready for when the job comes, or just if you want to develop your personal skills, right? That's something that I definitely recommend. Finally, for those students who have a lot of friends or know a lot of people in university, you can keep it moving by helping those persons out. They might be in their final year or even in their third year, and as a graduate, you would have the experience and knowledge required to help them with whatever projects they have going on. I'm actually in my makeshift studio right now doing some voiceovers for some of the students doing production house this year. So that's just a few things that I do to keep myself occupied, to make sure that I don't have too much relaxation time on my hands. The Bible says the devil finds work for idle hands. All right, so I don't want my hands to be too idle. Right, so this is just a few of the things that I do to keep it moving. I'm Javon Thomas, and I would encourage you guys to do the same. Get started on those projects, do some research, do some online classes. Make sure you guys keep it moving.
Mr. Andrew Fairman is a young, vibrant, and disruptive learning and development and recruiting practitioner with one aim: to inform a change on how we attract or retain and engage talent, and how job seekers show up for job opportunities. This passion led to the formation of TalentBox Jamaica, a cutting-edge recruitment process outsourcing firm in 2013 with an extensive client base in various sectors in Jamaica and as far as St. Lucia, Grand Cayman, Bahamas, and Trinidad and Tobago. Some clients that they have helped include Toyota Jamaica, Carrick, Stocks and Securities Limited, Kingston Wharves Limited, Heart Institute of the Caribbean, Blue Dot Insights, Stationery and Office Supplies, and many more. Before starting TalentBox Jamaica, Mr. Fairman worked for major cruise Cruise Lines in Miami, Florida, as their learning and development manager and HR support. He's an apostolic believer and the husband of Mrs. Cassian Williams Fairman. Let us give a warm virtual welcome to our next presenter, Mr. Andrew Fairman.
Thank you so much, Ashley. That's an amazing introduction. Thank you very much. I'd like to say thank you to all of the organizers for having invited me. I'm humbled by the invitation. You know, it's a great feeling when we can all come together to ensure that students that are seeking opportunities, you know, can be prepared. And we find that usually there's a disconnect between those who are leaving college, university, etc. So thank you so much for that. I have 15 minutes and I'm going to be making it short and spicy, I hope. I won't be doing a presentation, but I just have some practical tips that I really would like to share with all of you here. And over the years, just conducting numerous of interviews, talking with people on the streets, wherever, usually there has always been a disconnect, as I said earlier, from, you know, the candidate side and even the recruiter side. There's a middle ground in between where both parties seem to probably don't understand each other. So I'm trying to bridge the gap this morning. It's still morning. So for all those joining and you're job hunting, or you're going to start to job hunt, the first tip that I have for you is that you must know where your results are coming from. Again, you must know where your results are coming from. What do I mean by that? Many times you would send out a resume and you probably, you got a call, you got 2 calls, etc. And you are wondering, why have I not gotten more calls? You probably send out, say, 25 resumes and you've only received 2 calls for interviews. Or you might be sending out 50 resumes and out of those 50, you're getting 25 calls, 30 calls, right? But you are still not able to actually get a job offer. When you measure your results, what you're actually doing is looking at what's working for you and what's not working for you. So if you're sending out resumes and you're getting calls for interviews, it means that there's not an issue with your resume. Simply means that there is no issues with your resume. The interviewer actually found some interest and believe that you have value. So they're calling you for the interview. So you don't need to worry about going ahead and redesigning your resume. Now, if you go to the interviews and every time you get to the interviews, you don't hear from the interview after you left, it means then that something is wrong with the interview. You are not navigating the interviews to success, and you need to look at that. So that's the first tip. And a lot of times we don't pay attention to that. If you're getting calls from the resume that you're using, don't worry about your resume. Focus on successfully navigating the interview. So measure where your results and your success is coming from. So that's my first tip. My second tip is that you must measure job requirements carefully. This is important, ladies and gentlemen, because if you navigate to an interview, you've done the resume, and for some reason you got to the interview. If you do not understand the job requirements, if you do not close the gap in terms of problem solving, it means then that you're going to be walking out of that room without what? A job offer. without somebody deciding that they're going to give you a call back. And it was last week, I was in an interview, in fact, about Thursday, and this candidate and I were connected on LinkedIn. And when I realized that this candidate had applied to the role and was coming to the interview, I was elated because on Instagram, or on LinkedIn rather, this candidate seemed to be doing exceptionally well. It was a panel of about 4 of us conducting the interview. And ladies and gentlemen, when we started asking the questions, for every question that we asked, the candidate would ask, give me a minute, give me 2 minutes. And she would run and try to gather some information or something, maybe turn the camera off or be silent. And so it led us to the point that she really never understood what the job requirements were, as well as she didn't do her research, right? So it's important that you must break down, you must decode job requirements, and you must understand them, because again, you might move to the interview, but when you get to the interview, if you cannot understand and provide appropriate answers, it means that you're going to be left out. So be mindful of that as well. Now, my next point is research is important, but understanding is key. Or research is golden, but understanding is key. So oftentimes we talk about research. And when we talk about research, we're talking about, well, we believe that we're talking about research when the company was formed, research the CEO, research the hiring manager, and research how much profit they've made last year. All of this is correct, but what is also true is the fact that you must understand, again, what the requirements of the jobs are and what gap the employer is trying to fill. Because in truth and in fact, whenever a job requisition comes up, whenever there is a vacancy, it simply means that there is a gap in the organization, and we're looking for that candidate to come in and, so to speak, close the gap. You need an understanding of what the issues are and what the challenges are. And if you can understand this before, you are able to craft your responses and craft your solutions around that. And what this will do, this will put you as what I call a power candidate in front of the interviewers. So you need to be mindful of that. Get away from the fluff in your resume that you've done this, and if you don't, and you've done that. Really and truly, what I'm looking for are problem solvers. Can you come in and can you solve the problems that I'm experiencing or the challenges that I'm experiencing? So that is key as well. Be mindful of that. Then my next point is ATS versus traditional grading scale. And ATS is applicant tracking system versus a traditional grading scale. Now, what is an ATS? ATS is simply very well known in America. There are companies here in Jamaica that uses it, but it's not so popular because it can be expensive. But it's an automated computer system that is designed to weed out candidates that they believe are not a good fit. How do you know that you might be applying via an applicant tracking system? Simply, if the job ad is redirecting you to an external website. Some major applicant tracking systems are HR Bamboo, Talio, Success Factors, etc. You have so many more. Once you go there, what the system does is that it's actually asking that you upload your resume in a Word document. And so what the system will then do is to parse the information, take out the information that you have on your resume and fill it strategically in certain spots. And then based on what you have, based on the words that you use, based on the amount of experiences that you have, the system will then rank you as what we call fit or not a good fit. All right. So you must know when you are applying to applicant tracking system or through one, as well as when you are going through a traditional grading scale. A traditional grading scale, ladies and gentlemen, is usually, a recruiter taking up a piece of pen and paper with some grades, and what they do is that they grade you based on the job requirements. And that is why my initial point was for you to understand, because the grading scale, say for instance, a customer service rep, they're going to grade you on maybe your writing skills. They might grade you on your experience. They might grade you on your education. And so you must be mindful of this as well when you are navigating the job market. Now, what I've seen constantly is job seekers just sending bland, unprofessional, unedited, untidy resumes. Listen, the last time I watched the news, the report says that there were over 300 and I think 10,000 people that lost their jobs. So it's important that you understand this and understand that the competition is intense. And if you don't put your best foot forward, you are going to get left behind, regardless if you have that master's, regardless if you have that experience or not. If you don't put your best foot forward, you are going to get left behind. So be mindful of that as well. And my next tip, resume revamp. Oh boy, maybe if I say this again, you would probably slap me in the face, because you've probably heard this word over and over and over again. Revamp your resume, redesign your resume, do it over again. And you're probably wondering, if somebody asked me to design my resume one more time, right? I know it can be very frustrating, but it's important that you do a resume revamp for every job that you apply to. And by just looking at your resume, believe it or not, I can decipher and I can tell you whether or not you've put a lot of time into understanding the role, as well as designing the resume. So that is important as well. Revamp your LinkedIn profile as well. This is important. All the job seekers are there. And as well as recruiters, you must hang out where recruiters are hanging out. And this goes into what I call navigating the hidden job market. The hidden job market is where about 85% of jobs are filled without being advertised. Yes, 2 days ago, we filled 2 roles not advertised. Why? We have a short time to fill it. We can't do any advertisements. We just pick up the phone and call a friend who knows somebody who knows somebody. How do you, as a new graduate or somebody that's job hunting, navigate the hidden job market? You do that, ladies and gentlemen, by building out your network. Connect with people that you can help and people that can help you. Oftentimes, we believe that networking is simply about me just asking for help, but it's really about me helping others as well. The law of goodwill, all right? And conduct informational interviews. Let me know if I'm over time, because I'm not checking. Conduct what we call or request informational interviews, ladies and gentlemen, because that is important. What is informational interviews? Informational interviews are interviews that you request to get information about a particular role that may not be open to know, but there is a slight possibility that 3 months down the road, 2 months down the road, the role might become, available. So it's important. And again, this goes back into building your network. Call up that company and ask them, I've been following you on social media for the past couple of months, years. and I'm very, very impressed with what you are doing. Is it possible for me to just come in and sit with you just for 15 minutes, just to understand what the culture is like, and whether or not you might have a role within the next month, 2 months, etc. This will allow you to stand out from the crowd. So be mindful of that as well. And my final point is navigate interviews successfully. A lot of times the resume is correct. We get the interviews, but when we go there, it's something else. So it's important that you show up professionally. It's important that you show up calm. It's important that you digest the questions when they're being asked. And if you don't understand the questions, it's okay to ask for clarification. It's okay to let them know that you want a few seconds to think about it as well. And if you can get the resume correct, and if you can navigate the questions that are being asked, I'm pretty sure that you will begin to see results. Ladies and gentlemen, it's only 15 minutes and I have so much more information. You can connect with me though on LinkedIn at Andrew K. Fairman if you need more information. And I'm sure I'd be able to help you out. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and have a good day.
Man, he said revamp your resume, ladies and gentlemen, especially those university students who are graduating soon. Go and review your resume, make sure it's up to date, make sure it's ready to be sent out. Thank you so much, Mr. Fairman. Very pertinent words coming from Andrew Fairman, CEO of TalentBox Jamaica Limited. Thank you so much for giving us your time. We absolutely enjoyed it. Earlier, you would have heard me mention that there's a job fair happening right now where you or someone you know could participate in an interview in hopes of securing a job. If you are a student, check your email for more information. And if you are not a student, just send an email to careerservices@ncu.edu.jm for more information. We are here to help you keep it moving, because we don't want it to stop. We want you to always keep it moving regardless of whatever challenges you might be facing. Speaking of keeping things moving, it's time for another Alumni Bite.
My experience in my undergrad studying religion and theology with a minor in mass communication, it was very stressful. It was complex. It was I don't know, I think it was unique. My name is Keith Bryan Jr., a 2017-2018 graduate of NCU. By the time as I was in my third year, I had realized that, hey, I wanted to do media full-time. And I had already done so much credits in religion, so I said, hey, I'm going to continue it and do my minor and continue my minor in mass comm. And today I'm a photographer. And I just learned to navigate. I basically had to learn on my feet. I asked mentors. I gained a lot of experience while in school, working on a lot of projects. I was traveling all over Jamaica, basically just working on different projects and just trying to gain experience. I think that the world we live in today is so complex, and young persons, you're so young when you come into school and you're still figuring a lot of things out. So we have to learn to navigate and to lean on advice of mentors and persons above us, ahead of us in the fields that maybe we going into or even be transitioning from, and just really take risk and be open-minded, because the world is changing and we got to keep up. I just want to encourage any student out there who may be in a similar situation, preparing to graduate, or you may just be a little confused or afraid of what's out there after graduation. I want to say, hey, take your time. Take it one day at a time. You're going to learn a lot. Ask a lot of questions. Get out there. Get experience. Experiment. Take your time. You don't have to have it all figured out. God is going to put persons in your life to help you, to encourage you, to teach you. Just take your time. Take everything one day at a time.
You know, when it comes to education, students who have mentors can benefit greatly as they help them to navigate the undergraduate and graduate educational journey, you know, by impacting wisdom and advice. Here to tell us more about how our students can take advantage of the community of professionals to provide mentorship opportunities is no other than the Regional Director of Mines, Mrs. Amoy Phillips Brown. Before we get into that presentation, however, let's get to know more about her from Speaker Tyra Watts. I now hand over to Miss Watts.
Today, the privilege is mine to introduce to you our guest speaker for this wonderful event. Our guest speaker considers herself to be a quiet storm. She is gentle yet assertive, which has aided her in the many successes that she has reaped during her career in marketing. Due to her passionate drive for achieving exemplary results, she now stands as a brand manager for the Coca-Cola portfolio for Jamaica. Our guest speaker is a graduate of the University of the West Indies and has been certified by Carrick in creating winning social media strategies and also holds certification by the Marketing Excellence and Brand Leadership Summit on bold branding. Finally, our guest speaker is a strong believer that we all have an important role in ensuring the development of our children. As such, she is the president and co-founder of the Martha Smile charity, where she has helped thousands of less fortunate children over the last 5 years. More recently, our guest speaker has devoted her time to developing the youth through the initiative Minds of Jamaica, where she provides mentorship to young adults as they maneuver through developing their personal and career goals. Here to inspire us as we prepare for the world of work, please help me welcome Mrs. Amoy Phillips Brown.
Hi, good morning, everybody. And I'm so happy to be here with you today to present to you, or share with you rather, the Minds of Initiative. So I have 15 minutes as well. And so my presentation is going to be short and spicy, keep you guys entertained, and also to share with you what exactly is Minds of Initiative. So as mentioned, Minds of Initiative, we came up, or this concept was created basically through the inspiration through information to growth and through connection. So what exactly is Minds of Initiative? We're a mentorship platform, right? You know, we're in university now, we're in school, and we're trying to find basically what's the best option for us. Where should we look out for job opportunities? What exactly should my path be? There's so many questions, and also, you know, it's like, what are all the answers to these questions? A lot of us don't know. I mean, I myself, when at school, I wish I had somebody to kind of guide me and let me know, you know, what are some of the mistakes that they made that I can learn from, and also to help me maneuver through some of the issues that I may have. So Minds of, we found that a few problems that students have, they don't feel adequately equipped with information to choose a career, right? That's the first problem that we saw. The second one is that there is lack of access to opportunities and information, right? So people are too dependent right now on, you know, okay, fine, maybe you have just, you know, your selected environment or traditional institutions. So maybe you look in the paper as well, or maybe you take guidance from school or your peers, right? So there's lack of access to opportunities as well as information. There's also the problem that the value of networking and mentorship as a vehicle for career advancement is underemphasized, right? So right now in our developing country, because we are a developing country, we find that networking and mentorship is not necessarily used as much as it should be. And that is where Minds of Initiative comes in and provides you with a solution. So what exactly is our solution? The first thing is that we want to leverage the internet to decentralize and scale access to mentors. So we want to provide you with the access you need to our mentors, right? Second is to create a platform that houses professionals from all disciplines and facilitates engagement with these mentors, right? And finally, we want to use this platform to connect mentees to opportunities outside of their normal geographical limitations. So as you can see, the platform itself is perfect if you're trying to find that person to kind of help to guide you, to answer all the questions that you may have. Persons that have experience, you can tap into that experience through the Minds of Initiative. We host over 34 different minds. Currently, we call them minds, or these would be the mentors that you may have. And we also have right now over 150 students who are engaged through the Minds of Initiative platform. So how does it work, you may be wondering? Well, we have a website, Minds of, and I'll show that at the end of the presentation, mindsof.com. And you go onto that and you browse our website, you look at the various minds that we have. So we have minds from banking and finance, hospitality, engineering, marketing like myself, or brand management, medicine, IT backgrounds. Also too, we have persons who are artists or singers, a great host of different minds that you can look into. So you select a mind from our Meet the Minds page, then you go and you submit a question or request to connect to start your mentorship with that particular mind. Once you receive the answers to your questions and you start learning, it's very, very simple, right? So all you do, you go onto our website, you log on, you look at our minds, you submit a question to that particular mind that you have seen, and they will respond to you, and then we take it from there. So basically, we also have the option that you can just submit questions. So for instance, maybe you want to know about brand management and you may have a question for me. You go onto the site again, you find me, you share your question, and I'll answer your questions as best as I can. So these are just a list, or show you some of the examples of questions that people had asked or students had asked, and the minds then reached out and responded to them and gave them. As you can see, we have some really, really detailed responses from a lot of our minds. So what also happens through Minds of is that you are provided with mentorship connections, right? Students and minds engage in direct communication for career guidance, right? So when you log on to Minds and you find a mind that you think is linked with your possible goal, or maybe you have you see a mind that you think is a field that you did not know about before, but you're interested in finding out more about, right? You get that direct connection with a mind through the Minds of Initiative page, right? We ask that when you log on to the site and you choose a mentor, a mind as we call them, you make a 6 month commitment to have that engagement with your mind, right? There's also, we ask that you schedule a one-on-one call. So a mind and the mentee will schedule a one-on-one call every month to have that check-in, right? So we want for you to have that direct contact. Of course, now we don't have, persons are not connecting in a physical space as they used to. And so now we're more so virtual. And so what's perfect is that you're able to connect with your mind, whether a video call or maybe a phone call, just to check in to see how are your goals going, how far have you reached, maybe some suggestions, some guidance, some opportunities that minds may see, they may identify through the connection. And then finally, the mentees must set goals to help the mind guide you, right? Now, we are not able to come up with all the answers, but what we do know is that we do have experience and we do have connections that you may not have access to. And so it's important to share your goals with us so that we can provide the support that you need in order to achieve your goals. So this is just an idea of what the site looks like when you log on and you submit for the mind. You'll see there's also an online form that we ask that, mentees complete. And that also there's a feedback form that mentees also complete to give the mentor, feedback on how it is that they're doing as a mentor, and maybe some of the possible weaknesses or things that they can look at changing or developing. Also, what's great about the mentee agreement, mentor and mentee agreement, is that we set expectations from the beginning. So you're not just coming on Minds of Initiative and you're going to sign up for a mentor, and then you don't hear from your mentor in 3 months' time. That's not the case, because once this agreement is completed, we expect that the mentor and the mentee are held accountable and that they're both invested in supporting one another. And more so, the mentor is supposed to act as a great source or support, for the mentee in order to ensure that you have your goals achieved. So here's some feedback from some of our mentees. We've gotten, this platform is beyond remarkable. Thanks a million. Minds of Initiative. Minds of should have been here ages ago. Thankfully, it's here now. And then we also have, my mentor helped me get an internship and I didn't have to ask for his help. And then there we also here, I love that I have a mentor. I feel free and comfortable talking to her. I would definitely recommend anyone. I myself have 2 mentees. One of my mentees, we just met on the weekend, and it's great to interact with her, to see her progress over the span of possibly 2 to 3 months. The change that she's made, positive changes, the interviews also that she's gone on and gotten feedback on, and now even going to 2nd and 3rd interviews to possibly finalize a job. And to get that interaction, and also to know that I, as a mentor, have helped her and supported her goals, has been really a really rewarding experience. And I know that a lot of our minds feel the same way. So some of the partnerships that we have had access to, we've had partnerships with Digital Foundation, Caribbean Girls Hack, and more recently, we've done a partnership with Clinton Global Initiative University. And so these are some of the 3 main partnerships that we've done recently. Actually, which is ironic, you know, these partnerships were actually executed in 2020 during COVID. And so we are really, really excited about that. We really are proud of that as well, that we were able to push beyond limitations of COVID and still ensure that we develop our mentees and we provide them with access as well to great partnerships. So some of the Minds of Initiative opportunities that are available is that we do have courses that we do have access to that we share with our mentees. We also provide job alerts depending on your specific goals through the Minds of Initiative page. We've done, of course, interviews on Smile Jamaica and TVJ before. You know, we do also have a virtual internship that we are doing and is doing exceptionally well. We think we have about over 15 students that are enrolled in this that is specific to bioinformatics and genomics, and we're excited about that. And then also more recently, we donated over 15 different tablets to rural communities. We went to specific children and gave donations of tablets to those children who we saw in need last year as well. And we have a lot of other opportunities that will arise during this year and moving forward. So the mentorship or the Minds of model that we have is that one, you have the Minds of Premium access, which is a 1-month membership, right? And then we also have Minds of Premium, which is a 5 months, and 1 free-month membership that is $3,000. So for the 1-month membership, it's $600. And then for the 5-month membership, we're looking at 3,000 Jamaican dollars. It's very affordable, and we think that it's a great tool for students right now in order to tag into our connections that we have, our database, and get access to some exciting minds. Now, outside of the membership that we offer, we also give you access to our mentors. You can go ahead on our website and ask questions to mentors at no cost to you as well. So some of the things too, these are just a host of our minds that we've done interviews with. You can check it out on our Minds of YouTube page, and also you can check it out on our Instagram page. This is interviews with our minds to find out from them, you know, how it is that they got into the field that they're currently holding. You know, what are some of the challenges that they face? What are suggestions they may have for students who want to go into that particular field? And then just general questions from our audience at the time that they will also answer for you. So you can take a look at that when you have a chance as well. Now, what's really exciting is that we've been having Minds of Jamaica. And so we've had a lot of access to Jamaican youth, but we are now expanding, and we now are going to be launching this year Minds of Trinidad. We're very, very excited about that because it then even broadens our network, right? We have access to a whole other country as well. And so we are excited to look to launch Minds of Trinidad later on this year. So where can you find us? We are available at Minds of Jamaica on Instagram. You can email us at moj@theminds.com. And you can also check out our website at www.themindsof.com. Feel free to share your questions, your concerns, feedback with us, and I will also share more information that we will do an email blast to all students about Minds Of and how you can have access to us. Thank you.
So much, Mrs. Philpotts Brown. I'm ensuring that I get the name correct, you know. A very timely reminder there. We absolutely appreciate the work that you're doing over by the Minds Initiative, you know, encouraging persons. We absolutely love it. Thank you so much for joining us today. So we are halfway through our virtual career fair. I know that you don't want it to end, which is why it's going to continue. I'm enjoying the interactions that I'm seeing over there in the chat on YouTube. Keep them coming. We absolutely love the comments, and we're so happy that you're enjoying it. Coming up on the other side of this break is the much anticipated pitch competition. We have our contestants lined up, ready to convince us to buy into what they are selling. The stakes are high, folks, because each of the contestants have 30 seconds to pitch to a panel of judges. Janae Walker takes the reins on the other side of these messages. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Lydia Miles Saunders, a proud graduate of Northern Caribbean University class of 2008 from the Department of Biology and Applied Sciences. It is said one thing in life is constant, and that is change. This is true in many regards. Throughout my tenure at NCU, I worked in the custodial department, in the library, as a laboratory instructor and as a colporteur. There in my early years, I learned the benefit of adapting to suit the demands of life in a noble way. I graduated with a degree in medical technology and an associate degree in biology. A few years later, while holding a full-time job, I also completed my master's degree at the University of the West Indies in medical microbiology. I later completed my studies to become a doctor at the same institution, all this time utilizing my skills of baking and writing to help to finance my way through school. In this changing world with all its uncertainty, I encourage you to use what is embedded inside you, waiting to be found. Let's keep the greatness we discovered on the hill moving forward.
Student at NCUFM since 2018. That was when I was first introduced to journalism and writing news for radio broadcast. I believe experience is very valuable, especially in the media industry. Being at NCU, I've been working there since my first year, and when I started working there, I had no experience at all in news writing and presenting. And since being there and enhancing my skills, getting that opportunity to hone all the areas that I was weak in, I was able to build on my passion. At the end of this 4-year degree, not only will I be leaving with a paper that says I'm certified in this industry, but I'll also have close to 3 years of experience under my belt as well. So while some may say that they don't want to volunteer or to do this if money is not involved, I just want you to know that in the long run it does work out for you, because at the end of the day, in this industry, whether it's television, radio, public relations, or journalism, employers want people who have experience as well as the credentials. When I just started this program, I was saying, okay, all I need to do is to come to school, do my assignments, follow the instructions of my lecturers, and I'll just be out of there and ready to launch in the media world. But after working at NCU Media, I've come to know for a fact it will be very hard to survive in the media world without experience, especially as a person who's really fresh out of university. So knowing what I know now, I've come to appreciate and realize how imperative it is to have experience. It doesn't matter if you're just emphasizing in public relations, for example. Don't just stick to that. Get experience in the other areas as well, because the thing is with this media industry is that it's very unpredictable. You could leave here saying that, okay, I'm going on the radio or I'm going on TV to read news, and then in the long run, you find yourself in a public relations firm. The Media Apprenticeship Program, MAP, is a voluntary program, and I know that some students, I was like that myself, would frown upon doing any form of voluntary work unless it has money. But the opportunity is much more than that, because you're getting an opportunity to hone and develop your skills practically in the best way possible. So don't just see this program as somewhere to go to just to complete the hours and then you're gone. Take advantage, and you get the opportunity to advance and develop your skills and apply them in the courses that you will do in order to complete your degree. MAP, now go make your flop.
Think back to when you were 7 years old. What did you want to be when you grew up? Is your answer still the same? Perhaps before you leave Northern Caribbean University, you may have chosen something else entirely. Or perhaps we just may help you achieve your childhood dream.
We know about that at Career and Employment Services at NCU. We understand that your experience here will be a journey, one in which you will explore your interests, identify your strength, and challenge you to discover how you will contribute to the world that's waiting for you. Let's help you figure out your next step, whether it's choosing a major, finding a part-time job or an internship, writing a winning cover letter and resume, learning to interview and network, or anything related to your career goals.
At Career and Employment Services, we serve all our students. Whether you're on our main campus or on our Eastern and Western regional campuses, whether you're an undergraduate or a graduate or a transfer student, you are welcome to use our services as often and regularly as you want. My advice for first-year students is give yourself permission to settle in here at Northern Caribbean University. University life is a big adjustment, but don't be afraid to try new things. Explore, do things you've never done before, because you just might find something that you really love. Freshmen, do well in your classes, because that will preserve your options and give you choices when you complete your degree and move on to your career.
To get started, make an appointment with your career peer advisor by emailing careerpeeradvisor@ncu.edu.jm to learn more about how we can help you. An advisor will be assigned to you that will provide support to navigate your career journey. We can't wait to start this exciting journey with you.
Our services are being offered online every day from Monday to Thursday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Fridays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. via Zoom.
We want to hear from you. Follow us on social media. Like us on Facebook at CareersNCU, Instagram at NCU_career_services, and contact us on WhatsApp 876-564-8577.
We are Northern Caribbean University's Career and Employment Services,
empowering our students to be world-class professionals.
Preparation, practice, promotion, and perfect clarity are some of the things you need to master the art of the pitch. I'm your host, Jenny Walker, reporting live from Portmore, and welcome to our halftime pitch competition, where our contestants will sell themselves as they answer the question, "Tell me about yourself," to you, our audience, and our panel of judges. Now, our panel comprises of the following: talent consultant of Ernst & Young Services Limited, Miss Anadine Nemhard. Chair of the Department of Communication Studies and Communication Coach, Miss Noreen Daly. Allow her to feel welcome in the comments. And thirdly, and finally, Special Events and Projects Manager of NCU FM, Miss Patricia Grant. Okay, this afternoon, we have 4 contestants here to wow us with their pitches. But before we begin with our first contestant, let me tell you about our sponsor for this segment. This pitch competition is sponsored by Healthy Harvest Farm, where convenience can't get better. Just before we get into the competition, let us hear a quick word from our judges. We will begin with Miss Daly. Miss Daly, what exactly are you expecting to see in this competition this afternoon?
Creativity, but with the creativity substance.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. And we'll go right over to Miss Anadine Nemhard. Welcome, Miss Anadine Nemhard. What exactly are you expecting this afternoon from our contestants?
Hi, good morning. I think I'm saying good day, everyone. I am hoping to see creativity. And I echo Noreen's sentiment. So substance, definitely. So looking forward to the participants.
Excellent, excellent. We love to see it. And our final judge, Miss Patricia Grant, what are you expecting from our lovely contestants this afternoon?
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Let me join with Miss Daly and Miss Nemhard in saying that I expect substance, I expect creativity, but more so I expect excellence, because this is Northern Caribbean University, and with NCU comes excellence.
Excellent response. Thank you so much, judges, for your input. And without further ado, we'll get right into our pitch competition. Our first contestant will be none other than Michael Riley, a management studies student from the College of Business and Hospitality Management. And his pitch will be centered around his application for the position of a marketing planner. Go ahead, Michael.
My name is Michael Riley, and I am a final year marketing student that loves to help companies understand and use marketing trends and customer data. I love creating customer value, and on top of that, I love helping customers perceive that value. Today, value propositions are entirely dependent on organizations' willingness to change. What makes me stand out is my process in understanding market needs, social marketing needs, content marketing needs, and data analytics. Working in tandem with your organization's goals will allow me to create and develop customer value, particularly for minorities in the Americas and in Jamaica. It will also allow me to express social and network marketing skills. Finally, it will allow me to engage in skill development and positively stimulate organizational change.
Excellent, excellent. And without further ado, we'll go straight into our second contestant, and she is none other than Abigail Stewart. And she's also a student from the College of Business and Hospitality Management. Her pitch is centered around her application for the position of Accounts Payable Clerk. Take it away, Abigail.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Miss Abigail Stewart, and this afternoon I am here to state my interest in applying for your Accounts Payable Clerk position. This afternoon, first, before I begin, I would like to thank you, my interviewers, for listening to this audio and taking interest and keynote in my points that I bring across in the accounting world. As an accountant, I believe that accuracy should be exercised in dealing with all monetary transactions that comes into a business, or the money that is made, that is used on a daily basis. As a young person, a young individual, with my experiences in accounting, I realize that every figure that has been entered into the computer has to be accounted for. It has to be accurate, it has to be precise, and it has to have a paper or a backlog, a trace of how it reached there and why is it that amount. And in my personality, I am a person who is truthful. I believe that at the end of the day, without covering up, truth is the order of the day. Truth is the only thing that can balance and settle anything, because it may sometimes be overlooked in a day-to-day activity, but truth has to be the one that is used and be our main target and focus. And this afternoon, I thank you again for listening to my recording and my views that I have on being an accounts payable clerk. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abigail. And we can see that things are spicing up for the competition. Our judges are so attentive and in tune with what is taking place. Now, our next contestant will be Devontae Hudson, a student from the School of Religion and Theology, and his pitch will be centered around his application for the position of a minister of the gospel. Let's take a listen.
Good afternoon. I'm Devontae Hudson, an 18-year-old from the parish of St. Anne. Currently, I'm pursuing my bachelor's in religion and theology at Northern Caribbean University. Preacher, teacher, mentor, and an ambassador is just a few of my many hats. Away from the pulpit, I'm an active volunteer involved in evangelistic series, street feeding, and many other outreach programs. I love to strengthen and encourage others to make room for God in their lives. I love to engage with youth to help bring about the best of their abilities. I live each day, as the great theologian once said, Dr. Miles Monroe, and I quote, "God has already established your purpose. Therefore, all I need to do is just trust in Him as He carries me through." Thank you.
Short, spicy, and to the point. Now, our final contestant will be Stephanie Wright, a student from the Department of Behavioral and Social Sciences, who will share her pitch with us. Stephanie, over to you.
Words to describe Stephanie Wright. I use a 3D model to define who I am. I am daring, dynamic, and deliberate. I use daring because I am courageous. I'm a courageous woman. I love taking risks, whether it is about my idea or my belief. Dynamic. No matter the amount of things I have to juggle in my life, from going to school, working, volunteering, and mentoring, I find the time to connect with others because I love working with people. And doing that, I still feel like Stephanie's authentic self. Deliberate. I don't do anything by chance. I don't do things by chance. I must have a clear vision of where I see myself, the contributions I want to make in life, and make that commitment. Anything I put my mind to or any task that is assigned to me, I am consistent in doing it to the end. Therefore, nothing I have done in my life is by chance, even if it is unexpected. I have learned never to undervalue who I am, what I am about, what I know, and never underestimate what I am capable of. So I am deliberating anything I do. Thank you.
We want to take this opportunity to thank all our contestants for their efforts in their presentations. You are all winners for coming up and showing out. But we want to hear from our judges, and they will need a few moments to deliberate and decide who our first, second, and third place winners are. We'll take a quick break, and when we return, our judges will take the floor. Stay tuned.
Brutality isn't a legality. There's no rationality as to why this abnormality should become a mentality. A mentality which kills and tortures. Are you really telling me you're afraid to speak up because you might be called an informer? Let us break the barrier of brutality and enforce it with alacrity. If you know someone who has been victimized, I charge you to I, interrupt their situations before their O. Oppressor continues to L, lurk in their lives. Let us E, extend our hands to our brothers and sisters who are being victimized, and N, never see violent acts and ignore them. Let us C, come together and be the E, example, so we may end a barrier on brutality.
I hear students speak all the time about the issues they're facing at NCU because of all of the rules and regulation, but for me, NCU has been a great experience for me because, one, it has refined me. Growing up in the inner city, I was used to aggression, being aggressive, being hostile, being competitive, not in a good way. But here at NCU, I learned how to deal with situations better. Every morning, for every class, you have to pray. You have to have a devotion before class. That has been a new experience for me here at NCU, and it has taught me how to really pray. Being here has taught me how to really pray, how to depend upon God for everything. Not only some things, but every little thing. So it has been a great experience in terms of the whole spiritual and holistic development. NCU has truly lived up to the words, the motto of being a holistic development institution. Because they don't only prepare you for academics, they prepare you in terms of how you deal with people socially, spiritually, emotionally, even physically, because we have the gym, we have Step to Christ. You do a lot of walking, a lot of physical activity. So NCU has been great, and I enjoy it, and I wouldn't change my experience here for any other institution. It is a great experience, and I am grateful that I chose NCU.
working student at NCUFM since 2018. That was when I was first introduced to journalism and writing news for radio broadcast. I believe experience is very valuable, especially in the media industry. Being at NCU, I've been working there since my first year. And when I started working there, I had no experience at all in news writing and presenting. And since being there and enhancing my skills, getting that opportunity to hone all the areas that I was weak in, I was able to build on my passion. At the end of this 4-year degree, not only would I be leaving with a paper that says I'm certified in this industry, but I'll also have close to 3 years of experience under my belt as well. So while some may say that they don't want to volunteer or to do this if money is not involved, I just want you to know that in the long run it does work out for you, because at the end of the day, in this industry, whether it's television, radio, public relations, or journalism, employers want people who have experience as well as the credentials. When I just started this program, I was saying, okay, all I need to do is to come to school, do my assignments, follow the instructions of my lecturers, and I'll just be out of there and ready to launch in the media world. But after working at NCU Media, I've come to know for a fact it will be very hard to survive in the media world without experience, especially as a person who's really fresh out of university. So knowing what I know now, I've come to appreciate and realize how imperative it is to have experience. It doesn't matter if you're just emphasizing in public relations, for example. Don't just stick to that. Get experience in the other areas as well, because the thing is with this media industry is that it's very unpredictable. You could leave here saying that, okay, I'm going on the radio or I'm going on TV to read news, and then in the long run, you find yourself in a public relations firm. The Media Apprenticeship Program, MAP, is a voluntary program, and I know that some students, I was like that myself, would frown upon doing any form of voluntary work unless it has money. But the opportunity is much more than that, because you're getting an opportunity to hone and develop your skills practically in the best way possible. So don't just see this program as somewhere to go to just to complete the hours and then you're gone. Take advantage, and you get the opportunity to advance and develop your skills and apply them in the courses that you will do in order to complete your degree. MAP, now go make your flop.
Think back to when you were 7 years old. What did you want to be when you grew up? Is your answer still the same? Perhaps before you leave Northern Caribbean University, you may have chosen something else entirely. Or perhaps we just may help you achieve your childhood dream.
We know about that at Career and Employment Services at NCU. We understand that your experience here will be a journey, one in which you will explore your interests, identify your strength, and challenge you to discover how you will contribute to the world that's waiting for you. Let's help you figure out your next step, whether it's choosing a major, finding a part-time job or an internship, writing a winning cover letter and resume, learning to interview and network, or anything related to your career goals.
At Career and Employment Services, we serve all our students. Whether you're on our main campus or on our Eastern and Western regional campuses, whether you're an undergraduate or a graduate or a transfer student, you are welcome to use our services as often and regularly as you want. My advice for first-year students is give yourself permission to settle in here at Northern Caribbean University. University life is a big adjustment, but don't be afraid to try new things. Explore, do things you've never done before, because you just might find something that you really love. Freshmen, do well in your classes, because that will preserve your options and give you choices when you complete your degree and move on to your career.
To get started, make an appointment with your career peer advisor by emailing careerpeeradvisor@ncu.edu.jm to learn more about how we can help you. An advisor will be assigned to you that will provide support to navigate your career journey. We can't wait to start this exciting journey with you.
Our services are being offered online every day from Monday to Thursday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Fridays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. via Zoom.
We want to hear from you. Follow us on social media. Like us on Facebook at CareersNCU, Instagram at NCU_career_services, and contact us on WhatsApp 876-564-8577.
We are Northern Caribbean University's Career and Employment Services, empowering our students to be world-class professionals.
To hear who our winners are. But before we hear, let me tell you our first, second, and third place winners will walk away with the following prizes. For first place, we have a gift basket from our sponsors, Healthy Harvest Farm, and $5,000 from Career and Employment Services. Our second place winner will get 1,500 credits from our sponsor and a gift basket from Career and Employment Services. And finally, our third place winner will get $500 credit from our sponsor and a gift basket from Career and Employment Services. At this time, we will hear from our Chief Judge, Miss Anadine Nemahard. Over to you, Miss Anadine.
Thank you so much, Jenny. Good afternoon and good day, everyone. I'm getting a feedback. Okay. I just want to really thank all the participants for their engaging presentations that they did today. I know that it may have been a little bit nerve-wracking, and, you know, thank you for trying to put your best foot forward. Just some comments so far as it relates to all of the participants. For Devontae, his message was very clear and concise, and, you know, there was a valid proposition, and we appreciated his verbal and non-verbal body language. It was very great. For Stephanie, she had a very bubbly personality. She was very engaging, relatable. And for Abigail, she was very personable. Seemed a little bit nervous, but she did some research on the role and the requirements for the job. And finally, for Michael, he was very passionate and engaging, and it's clear that he also did some research on the marketing planner role. However, it is a competition, and there has to be a winner. So based on the deliberation from myself and the judges, we have selected for the, should I say, the second runner-up? So the second runner-up would be Abigail. So congratulations to her. The first runner-up would be Stephanie. So congratulations, Stephanie. And our overall winner for the competition would be Devontae. So congratulations, Devontae, on your contribution to the pitch competition. In terms of recommendation, I would recommend ensure that you do research on the role and the opportunity that you're interested in. It would be good to practice over time, and in practicing, you'll get more familiar with the different adjectives that you want to use and how you want to describe yourself in the pitch that you're presenting to the person, as well as have a call to action at the end. If it is that you're applying for a scholarship, if it is that you're trying to get an opportunity for a job, you know, open, close with opening. Can I be in contact with the person? Can I provide an email address? Or can you provide an email address to them as well to send your information to? So ensure that you close with a call to action.
Thank you so much, Miss Nemahard. And thank you to our esteemed panel of judges. And a special thanks to Healthy Harvest Farm for sponsoring this segment. Now you can follow them on social media, on Instagram at borderless_delivery. You can also find them on Facebook at borderlessdel.healthyharvest, or take a look at their website at www.healthyharvestfarmbd.com. That is www.healthyharvestfarmbd.com. Healthy Harvest Farm, where convenience can't get better. It's back to you in the studio, Amoy.
Thank you, Ms. Walker, so much. I absolutely enjoyed that little segment. It was so informative, seeing how the different persons were operating during their little, trying to sell themselves. I think it was absolutely beautiful, and we all learned something from it. So thank you so much, Ms. Walker. Since we're on already the topic of interviews, we have another fantastic presentation coming your way that I know you guys will absolutely love, from Dr. Marcia Robinson, who will be sharing with us how to interview like a pro, PRO. Dr. Marcia Franklin Robinson is an award-winning senior certified HR executive, a member of the Forbes HR Council, one of the 100 global women in ethics, and the CEO of the HBCU Career Center. The center has served over 1,800 employers by connecting them to the diverse community of students, graduates, and staff of the 105 institutions designated as historically black colleges and universities in the U.S. Dr. Robinson, she has held leadership roles in 4 college career centers. Students call her Dr. R, and the HR industry calls her the workplace evolutionist. Dr. Robinson speaks often on how the future of work and the workplace automation is impacting employment. As a worker advocate, she wants to make sure that technology screens people in rather than out. Her current research is on the use of artificial intelligence technology in the hiring and employment process. I want to hear so much about that one. She has worked in higher education, aviation, technology, hospitality, and public sector roles. Viewers, she has so much underneath her belt. Her goal is to continue working with students, alumni, emerging professionals, college career centers, and employers to better engage and develop a diverse workforce where professionals, be they employees or business owners, will fulfill their dreams of a lifelong sustainability through career and workplace success. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Robinson will say that more important is that the fact that she was born in Aleppo, St. Mary, Jamaica, and she's a proud graduate of the Covenant of Mercy Alpha Academy, and she now resides in Pennsylvania. I now hand over to Dr. Robinson to take the floor and share her information that she has just for you. Dr. Robinson.
Good morning, Northern Caribbean University. Thank you very much for having me. I want to thank Director Cuff for reaching out to me. I know we've worked back and forth for the last couple of weeks to make sure I was able to participate. And I'm just really grateful that I was given the opportunity to share this interview like a pro methodology with students, staff, faculty, or any employer partners who might be participating in the career events today. Why the pro methodology? I'm going to go right into it because I know that we have a very tight timeline and I want to make sure I'm respectful of that. The goal of any interview, I say from the job seeker's perspective, is to use good communication skills to speak with confidence about your competencies. I refer to this as my 3 C's of interviewing. And the premise behind, using the pro method is that any great interview is really rooted in research, and that your past behavior is going to be the best indicator of your future behavior. And so the more you're able to research and understand about yourself, the company, and the industry, the better you are able to make a connection between everything that you are and what it is that the company and the industry might be looking for. As part of your research process, you're going to analyze the job posting as well. And if you can't find if sometimes companies will post a very abbreviated version of the job duties as part of their job posting. For whatever reason, they're trying to save money on the advertising. You know, you can still find a full-blown description of the position. And you're going to do your research. You're going to analyze that posting or that description of what it is that the role is all about. And then you're going to prepare these pro stories, or I call them pro stories. Before the interview, research is really what helps to build your confidence in the interview process. Practice helps to build your, not only your communication skills for the interview, but also your confidence in yourself. You know, to use the best words to talk about your competences. Research is really, really key. And it's, I believe that the interview process, the resume writing and the interview, those two together really are founded on research of, you know, your, what I call your visa. You know, when I read a resume, I want to get a sense of what you value, what your interests, your skills, and your abilities are. When you get into the interview, I expect to hear, you know, a fuller expression of what those things are. As part of researching yourself, know what your short-term and your long-term goals are, you know, and how this position fits into what those goals are. Does the company, you know, connect with what your values are? And that requires that you know what your values are, that you know who you are, that you know what is important to you in a company, so that you can go in and really demonstrate confidence about, you know who you are, you know what your real visa is, what I call it, your values, interests, skills, and abilities are. You know what it is the company is all about. And so you're coming in to speak with confidence about how those two things can intersect. I want you to start thinking, as you research yourself, what is it that you can contribute to the career? Too many people think about that the other way around. They think about what it is that the career can do for them. And yes, we know that our careers are going to feed us both, you know, figuratively and literally. We want to be inspired by the work that we do, and we want to keep doing work that inspires us. But think about when you're going in for an interview, do I really want to contribute to this company? Do I really want to contribute to a career here? All of that, I'm hoping your understanding sets the tone for your confidence level going into the interview. You're not going to get every position that you interview for. You may very well be that person who gets every position that you interview for, or get an offer for every position that you interview for. But for most of us, that's not the case. And so, you know, if you've prepped, you've seen the connection between who you are, what the company has to offer, and you go in and you interview and you don't get that position, just keep at it. Keep showing who you are in the interview, keep reaching out for more opportunities, and ultimately you will, you know, make that connection. In terms of researching the company, what do they do? As an HR executive who has done tons of interviewing, nothing is more frustrating than sitting in front of a candidate who, you know, at some point during the interview session will say to you, well, what exactly do you do? It's like, you know, you got to do that research before you come into the interview. Because if you don't know what we do, then what are you going to sell? Understand the company's philosophy about things that might mean something to you. You know, there's a huge global push right now, things that are on everybody's agenda. You know, is an organization, does an organization care about equity? You know, are they treating men and women equally or equitably inside of organizations? Equal pay, environmental issues, certainly the pandemic issues. What is a company's philosophy? You know, how has a company demonstrated that they care about their employees just even over the last year of the pandemic? Who are their major clients and stakeholders or shareholders? How is the company changing? It'd be very difficult to go through the last year that we just went through, regardless of the size of the company, and not have changed some things. So what do you know about the culture of the organization? You know, do you know somebody who worked there? You know, what do they have to say about the organization? You know, and in some cases, we should actually believe what we hear about organizations. in terms of what the organizational culture might be. If you find that there's this organization that is constantly hiring for the same position, you want to ask some questions about that. And to the extent that you can get some answers about, what is this organizational culture that I'm going into? Who are the leaders of the organization? What does the leadership team look like? What is the vision for the organization? These are things that the more you research and the more you know, the better prepared you are to go in and be confident about how it is that your competences can assist your organization. Research the industry. Is it disappearing? Is it a growing industry? Is it an industry, for example, retail, where pieces of it might be dying, but there are pieces of it that are expanding and growing? Transportation. All of these industries are being really impacted by technology, new business models from Uber to Lyft, that are just making changes inside of transportation sector. How are these things going to impact, what you know now and what you have the ability to learn? How is the industry changing, and what future opportunities are going to be there to make sure you can remain meaningfully employed? In addition to that research, you're going to focus in that research. Now you know the background of the organization, who you are. You're going to focus in on what it is that they're actually specifically looking for at this time. And, they're going to be putting that either in the job posting, or again, if you, are able to research and get a fuller list of a job description of what that role looks like. I'll use my role, for example. If I were interested in finding an HR executive position, I know there are probably 20 behaviors that, I should really care about. And when I look at a specific position, I might pick out 4 or 5 that they're telling me about in that job posting. And because those job postings are really going to hold clues as to what stories you're going to tell in the interview. And that's what interviewing is all about. It's really about storytelling. And so the PRO methodology helps you think through what interview stories you're going to tell. The P is about past personal or professional experience, and we could spend a whole hour just talking about what qualifies there. But for purposes of this session, I wanted to just make one quick note, is that not all professional experience is paid experience. And so that's why the word personal is there. If you volunteered, if you're helping Director Cuff put this event together today, it's personal experience. But it's also professional experience. You're not being paid for it. Maybe not. You're not being paid for it if you're a student, for example, but it is valid experience that you could use in a professional setting. The R is about the role that you played, what responsibilities you had, and rational reactions, and it should be relatively recent. Now, again, we can spend an hour talking about what that could mean, but the key point I want to make here is that you're not going to tell any stories in the interview that don't demonstrate rational behavior from you. For example, if I were to ask you, how did you work with a supervisor with whom you didn't get along? I wouldn't want you to tell me that you went into the refrigerator and threw their lunch away, or that you keyed their car. Both of those I've heard in interviews before. Neither demonstrates that you're a rational person, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for rational behavior in the interview. And the outstanding observable outcome. 2 things about that. 1, if you haven't given the outcome, you haven't answered the question. So while you're telling your story, when you get to the outcome, you know that you've told, you've fully answered the question. And the other thing is that you want it to be observable. And observable outcomes are outcomes that we can quantify. Someone else, your manager, a supervisor would look on, a colleague would look on and say, hey, you really did a good job with that because I can see that this thing happened. So past personal or professional experiences, what your role, your responsibilities were, and speak in a rational way and talk about outstanding observable outcomes. if, for example, you know, and as I shared before, if we're doing the full workshop, we would actually look at a job description and pick out 4 or 5 behaviors that we want to develop stories for. In this case, let's just say I'm going to look at 2 here. I'm going to say this job is looking for someone with who's detail-oriented and someone who's a self-starter. Write it down. We're going to put that story on paper. We're going to put it in a grid or a spreadsheet, and you know, we're going to list on the left-hand side those behaviors. And again, if it's a profession that you're going after, if you know in 5 years you want to be running an HR department, what are those behaviors that running an HR department? What are those competencies? What are those behaviors that would be expected? List those along the left-hand side. And start identifying 2 or 3 examples that you have of that kind of how you've demonstrated that behavior. One of the quick things that I do is I'll say to people, after you've written the list of behaviors, rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of how you are, where you would fall in that behavior. And if you tell me that you're you're 8, and then I ask you to tell me your best story, and the story is not so great, or it's a long time ago, it means that you have to kind of rethink that. And if you don't have a good story, create a column that says, what's my plan to get a story? And that's going to help me, you know, determine if, for example, if I'm a student, you know, what kind of roles might I want in a campus club or a campus group? What kind of behaviors do I want to develop? If I know I'm going into a position where writing skills are going to be important, then I want to make sure I have my best examples of writing skills. So I'll start thinking about those things way before I get ready to interview. Imagine the questions are going to come at you in 2 ways. They're either going to ask you, for example, based on the example we just looked at, are you a self-starter? Nobody's going to say no. Some people are going to say yes and not say anything else. So they can ask you that way, are you a self-starter? Or 2, tell me about a time when you started something. And that tell me about a time, they're prompting you for a story. Now, regardless of how they ask the question, even if they ask you, are you a self-starter? If you say yes, follow up with that story. Talk about that past, personal, or professional experience, what your role or responsibility was, and what was that outstanding observable outcome. That's how you know you're answering the question. After the interview, you want to follow up. Thank everybody that you met, you know, during the interview, whether you're on site or it's virtual. Make sure you send thank you email messages and restate your interest in the position by maybe touching on a pro story. If you told a story in the interview that you recognized that it resonated with the interviewer, revisit it in your thank you letter. Only about 15% of the people who actually do interviews send thank you notes, and it actually can put you over the top. So, takeaways, quick takeaways. Research yourself, understand your real visa, your values, interests, skills, and abilities. Research the career, the company, the industry. Read the job postings thoroughly and identify those 4 or 5 behaviors for the position, and think about your pro stories and practice your response. Whether you're writing it or you're verbally doing it or you're doing it in a practice interview. And I think I made my 15 minutes. Thank you very much again, Director Cuff. I look forward to being on your campus one day where we can go through these exercises together with students. So take care. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Robinson. Very, very informative presentation. I absolutely loved it. P, past, personal, professional. R, role, responsibilities, rational reactions. And O, outstanding observable outcomes. Like Dr. Robinson said, PRO helps you think through interview stories. Absolutely love the presentation. Thank you so much for sharing. Viewers, let's continue. Starting your career path can be a scary thing to do. The competition is fierce and you may feel unprepared, but you must burst the fear. Take that leap of faith. That is the next focus of our next presentation. Dr. Shelly Cameron is here to give us that boost we need to overcome our fears. We will learn more about her from Raheem Smith. Over to you, Mr. Smith.
Dr. Shelly Cameron is an author, organizational development consultant, and coach. She has researched the topic of success and has written 9 books on success, leadership, career development, and motivation. Her research, titled The Leadership Challenge, was published in the Journal of American Academy of Business, Cambridge, also known as the JABC, and was recognized by Nova Southeastern University. The research was also published in the book Success Strategies of Caribbean American Leaders in the United States. She now uses the results of her research to connect others to success. Dr. Cameron serves as Vice President for the Hospitality and Human Resource Association in Broward County, Florida. A lover of people development, she has served as Chief Judge for the Ignite Caribbean's 30 Under 30 initiative in Washington, D.C. since its inception. When not writing, she enjoys movies, reading, and spending time with family. You can find her online at www.shellycameron.com. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to introduce to you today Dr. Shelly Cameron.
Thank you, Raheem, for that very warm welcome. Good afternoon, everyone. And I used to attend Wilma's girls' school, and I was on the track team. So I'm used to being the last it, as they would call it when you're doing the relay. So here I am after listening to the entire presentation for the day and was totally inspired by the many speakers. And I wanted to just share with you on what was titled as Burst the Fear. No, really what I titled it as is Bust the Fear, because bust it out. That's basically what we're going to share on today. And I'm going to take a little bit of a different spin on things as I'm going to speak about my stories. And I hope that my stories will enlighten you as graduates to do your best and to move forward. What would you do if you were not afraid? Think about it. What would you do if you were not afraid? Would you jump out of a plane? I'm going to share you my story because that's exactly what I did. I was inspired after I finished my doctoral research, and I was waiting to do something to celebrate because it's told that whenever you complete something, you should celebrate it. So I decided, I heard a young lady who was 89 years old, and she was turning 90. And guess what she did for her birthday? She jumped out of a plane. So I was intrigued by that. I said, okay, so it was also my birthday, and I was looking around wondering what could I do? I decided to take on the challenge. So what I did was to do some research on different companies that do skydiving. Of course, you don't want one that has any deaths at all. I decided to go and do it, to do something that I've never done before, and that intrigued me. But before you decide to do it, I say, do your research. Here are some things that I did. I wanted to understand what was my goal? What's the purpose of what I was doing? Why did I want to jump out? It's because I was intrigued and I wanted to share with my kids. I have 2 girls, and I wanted to share with them that you can do anything you set your mind to. You should also celebrate achievements as well. Obviously, sometimes when things like this happen, you're going to have objections. And I did have objections from my oldest daughter. She said, Mommy, are you crazy? What are you doing? Why are you going to do that? What happened to the younger daughter that you have? What is going to happen if anything happens? I took that into account, but I didn't let that stop me. I focused on where I was going to go, and I decided to go ahead and do the thing. When the time came, they asked us to come in for about 3 hours before. 3 hours? Why would they need us 3 hours before? And I say us because those persons who were going to jump. I think that was about 4 or 5 persons. And we went in, and it took 1 hour to let us complete form, liability form to say, if you die, your family can sue us and stuff like that. Oh my God, I thought I was gonna die. So here is the fear. I was so afraid. Why are they asking all of these questions? Then the next hour and a half, what they did was to teach us what to do, how to do it. Now remember, still being responsible, I decided they actually showed us exactly how to do it. They taught us and we were able to know what the expectations are once we went on board. So yes, I did go on board. And when the time came for me to jump, I was as afraid as ever, so scared. But they said, jump. And I jumped, obviously, with someone else. I didn't do it alone. I did a tandem jump. And this was 14,000 feet in the air. So I was like dying in my mind, so scared. But when I had the man behind my back and he jumped with me and he was there to pull the parachute. So I would not have been able to do it myself, but there was somebody. So sometimes you have to think responsibly. So once we jumped, maybe about midway or so, he opened the parachute. The most scariest free fall I had before was before that. When he opened the parachute, it slowed down and it was the most amazing sight, most beautiful sight that there was that I could see. So celebrate. What it did, it inspired others. Some decided to jump as well, and some decided to go and do some other things. And of course, my family was so inspired. What they did, they shared, and they were happy and saying, oh my God, Mom jumped out of a plane. The same daughter who was saying, don't jump. So I'll go back over this again. Now take this on. What is said is any road, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. So yes, sometimes you may have objections from family, objections from friends, because sometimes they can't see where you're going. They don't know. They're going to tell you, no, you can't do it because they've never done it. Or sometimes they may tell you, don't do it because there's not enough financial information, finances that you have to go ahead and do it. But you have to keep your focus directed at where you're going. If you don't know where you're going, you're going to end up someplace else. There are going to be times, always be prepared. Be times when you have to do certain things. You have to, in this case, if you're going to graduate soon, make sure that you're keeping your focus on studying so you can pass. You got the right qualifications and experiences. The different speakers spoke about preparation. I think every single speaker spoke about preparation. Preparation is very, very important. And resources of time and effort and financial, never let those things stop you. Go towards what you want to do. Go to the career center. Get a mentor. Get anything that will help you to go do what you need to do. There's also flexibility and adaptability. Be flexible. I think about 3 or 4 of the speakers spoke about going into an organization and sometimes you're not going to be paid. I remember Paul mentioned it. You may not be paid for the work that you're doing, but you're going to walk away with that. You're going to have contacts, you're going to have resources, certain things. So never let that stop you. And I want to share another story with you as to how I paved my path, and I'm encouraging you to pave your path. Of course, remember that you have to start off with what you're going to do, which is pave that path. So I had my dissertation journey. I wanted to share that with you. And it began, I was chatting with Shelly and Gay, and I was chatting with her and she said, oh my God, the story that you're telling me, I wish my graduates would hear that too. So I decided to take on a different role and to share my story with you. I had a dissertation to do, and it will take maybe about 2.5 to 3 years. Of course, it can go up to 7 years, but I wanted to finish before. And I didn't want to just do a study and a research that is just going to sit on a shelf. So what I did was I thought for long and hard. And then I looked around and I saw youth just idling on the streets and so on. And I'm saying, but why not do something that can help the youth? So I decided to delve into the topic of success strategies and challenges that these Caribbean people are experiencing, especially those who migrated to the United States. I wanted to make a difference. So I went into researching the top leaders who are of Caribbean heritage in the United States, and they they must have gone through some challenges. They must have been successful. So they occupy some senior level position, if not CEOs, financial directors, and so on. And these persons included English speaking and non-English speaking persons. And I chatted with them along with Nova Southeastern University, where I did my research. And they shared the successes and the challenges that they had to go through. Challenges were, of course, financial challenges. There were challenges because of cultural biases, discrimination, and stuff like that. They really had their challenges. So at the end of that research, what I did, I, of course, finished, and I decided, like the nerd person that they may say you are, when I'm sitting down and I had graduated and I wasn't working at the time. I decided to do the last year full time, and I sat down before the computer and I started converting my research into a journal article. Now, who does that? There was no reason. But guess what? A few months later, 2 universities, California University and Colorado, reached out to me and asked me for my research that I had done. And I said, oh my God, but they wanted it, I think, in 4 days, including a weekend. But guess what? I didn't tell them that I had started it. So I was able to meet that 4-day turnaround time. They had sent me the format and I changed it to the format that they wanted, which is, again, adaptability. I changed to the format that they wanted, submitted it to them, and they reviewed it, sent it back to me. A year and a half later, it was published in the Journal of American Academy of Business, Cambridge. Now, that was something that blew my mind because I never expected it to be useful as that. So always be prepared. Always be prepared. And that article came out and it's titled The Leadership Challenge, Caribbean American Leaders in the United States. So that's something that I'm really proud of. Then I thought further, why not change the book my research into a book? So I just took another year and I converted it from academic language to the layman terms so others can understand it. And that book came out as Success Strategies of Caribbean American Leaders in the United States. I also have another that says Success Strategies of Immigrant Leaders in the United States, because I had English-speaking persons in it and non-English speaking. So we interviewed the Creole-speaking and Spanish-speaking, but from the title of Caribbean American Leaders, they will not know that it referred to them. So it depends on the market. Then sometimes you have to change. Paul spoke about it. You gotta adapt to what the environment that you're in. So that book was come on. And then I got recognition from Nova Southeastern. So how did that happen? I was going about my regular business and I was contacted by someone on Twitter that said to me, hi, Dr. Cameron, can you help me? It was a doctoral student. Can you help me in converting my research into a book? And I said, huh? Where did you hear about me? And then she told me that it was from Nova. She saw it on the Nova site. I was shocked. When I looked, she sent me the link. And when I looked on the site, I saw my face right on the front cover. And it had my book, The Success Strategies Red Book that you're seeing right here. And that was there. And after that, they kept asking me to share with some of the doctoral students how they converted their book. Now I see Nova has started doing courses on how to change your dissertation into a book. So sometimes those are the things. And what did I do? I started from them. It was my purpose to help Caribbean American youths to develop themselves. Now I got involved with the Institute of Caribbean Studies in Washington, D.C., and I'm also their chief judge for the millennials who are change makers throughout the industry. Now we're actually looking for change makers now. And that's how I actually met Tishauna, because she was one. You heard her story, and she was one of those that were nominated and walked away with one of the prizes as well. So that I'm sharing is you pave your path. Sometimes you're not sure of exactly the direction you want to go, but once you have that dream, then you're going to see that you can get to where you're going to go. This is the book that I have. My book was also converted into a workbook that is called Success Strategies Workbook, but I recently updated it during the COVID last year, and I call it Ditch It, Switch It, right? And I'm thinking of what is holding you back. Ditch it. Ditch what is holding you back. Go after your dreams, your goals, and your aspirations. Don't stop. Go after what is holding you back. And I say, ditch that fear. You don't necessarily need to jump out of a plane, like I said to you. It's not about that. It's just ditching that fear that's going to hold you back, the fear that restricts us, the fear that makes us feel stuck, that we cannot move and go to where we want to go. And I would even go take it a step further to say, if you're afraid, do it afraid. Do it anyway. That's one thing I've done. I believe in prayer a lot, and as I'm doing the things, I pray. And as I pray, I move forward, and that helps me. That even though I'm afraid, I'm going to do it anyway. And here I am. This is your way to contact me. I'm on Facebook as Dr. Shelly Cameron. On Instagram, I post inspirational quotes every morning, so you can follow me there. And my website is shellycameron.com. It's pretty simple. I write a lot about personal growth and development. And I had said to Shelly and Shelly Gay with the I, she's my namesake, I had told her that I would provide some of my books. So I'm going to share, I think I'm going to give to each of those participants who participated in that, the winners, I wanted to give them a copy of my book. She's going to send those to you. Okay, so that's motivational quotes to boost your success, and the other one is 101 plus motivational quotes for entrepreneurs. Okay, thank you so very much. It has been an absolute pleasure sharing this with you, my story. Thank you, and I hope it did inspire you to achieve success. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Cameron. I must say, I absolutely love that presentation. And I kind of feel like in my head somewhere there, I know I want to go and skydive. We'll think more about that. Do it afraid, the words of Dr. Cameron. What a way to bring the curtains down on such an inspiring event. If you have been here from the start, you might have picked up, as I did, on a common theme weaving through each presentation, and that is keep it moving, regardless of how scared or difficult each situation might seem. As you go forward in your career, ladies and gentlemen, keep it moving. Thank you to all who took part in today's program. Your participation here today goes much further than NCU. Today, we can take comfort in the fact that we were able to reach people in all corners of the world. While today's program is ending, Career Services has more for you to look out for. Coming up on May 9 is the Career and Employment Services webinar, where one of the features will be an interview seminar for teachers and those interested in teaching. If you are interested in attending this webinar, email us at careerservices@ncu.edu.jm. To give you a sneak peek of what to expect from that seminar is one of the presenters, Dr. Sam Festige. I hope I'm getting the name right, Doctor. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'll now hand over to Doctor. Take it away, Doctor.
Hello, NCU future teachers. Welcome to the best profession on the planet. My name is Dr. Sam Festige, and today I'm excited to give you a little sneak peek about my presentation with you all. So we're going to be doing real talk about interviews, because whenever I was first interviewing, I felt like everyone else knew where all the job postings were and how to interview with confidence and with passion and excitement, and what the whole process was, because I felt like that was all really confusing. So I'm going to break it all down for you. But before we do, let me share a little bit about myself. So I am a professor at Grove City College in Pennsylvania, where I get to teach future teachers all about educational technology and special education. I absolutely love what I do. I get to impact future teachers' lives through their work early in their career, freshman, sophomore year. I also get to see them during their junior year when they're doing some field work. Then I also get to see them in their senior year as they're student teaching and applying for those jobs. So it's so fun to see them grow from freshman all the way up to senior year. I'm also the author of EduMagic, a guide for pre-service teacher, and co-author of EduMagic Shine On, a guide for new teachers. 2 books you need to add to your Amazon cart like today. Also, I'm the host of the EduMagic podcast. For all this month, I'm doing bonus episodes with teaching interview tips just for future teachers like you. You can find all my work over on sfestige.com, and make sure you grab that freebie over there all about how to write your teaching philosophy 5-day challenge. All right, let's talk about our session, real talk about interviews. Here's our agenda. Here's kind of how we're going to go through our session. We're going to talk about the whole process of interviewing. Where do you even start? So where do you find the jobs? Where are those databases? We're going to talk about those. Some tips for application. So whenever we're applying for jobs, what are some things we need to have? Yes, we need to have some content, but we also need to have some extra materials like your resume, your cover letter, those might have to be uploaded. Letters of reference, those might have to be uploaded. Sample lessons, who knows? Maybe that needs to be uploaded too. So we're going to make sure you have everything to go whenever you are applying, and some ways to check over that application. It's your first digital handshake and you want it to be phenomenal. So we're going to talk about some tips for that. Up next, we have some resume and cover letter hacks. And friends, I have a really great resume description for you all. It's called the SMART resume description, where it talks about adding action and describing, painting a picture of what you did, who you taught, what were the results, where did you teach, what did you learn about it, all those great things. And then how to customize that cover letter, because we just can't send out cover letters and we just fill in the name of the school. Oh, no. We got to add sprinkles to that cover letter. Just like we had sprinkles for our ice cream sundae, we have to have sprinkles that personalize each cover letter to that posting. And we're going to talk about strategies to do that. We're also going to talk about common interview questions, but not just what they are, how to answer them and how to approach them like the educator of excellence that you are. Up next, because, we might be interviewing virtually for a couple of our postings, I got some remote teaching tips. I got you covered with those too, from lighting to audio and video to sharing screens and digital portfolios. We're going to rock with some remote teaching interview tips. And then up last, is the follow-up. Friends, you just can't leave an interview, say see ya. We're going to talk about questions to ask the panel. What's a good question? Something you can't Google or find on that website. And writing a thank you note. The thank you note is key. You're able to follow up, expand on your content, and personalize it. So friends, I'm really excited to share with you real talk all about the interview process. I can't wait, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye for now, and see you.
Thank you so much, Doctor. This and so much more on the webinar, which is approaching on May 7th. So earlier I said May 9, but it's not May 9, it's actually May 7. And just so you can know, the interviews conducted today will be extended throughout the remainder of this week. What a very amazing session that we had today. John D. Rockefeller once said, "Don't be afraid to give up the good to go for the great." Using those words, I want to encourage you to do the same. There's a whole world out there waiting to receive the best of what you can offer. As Miss Mullings said earlier, pivot, don't pause. Don't stop. Regardless of how difficult the situation might seem, go on, extend your career. There's a whole world out there for you to explore. On behalf of the entire production team and the Career Services Departments here at NCU, I'm Amoy Harriot, signing off for today's program. Just remember that come what may, adapt, pivot, and keep it moving. See you next time.
To the blessed hill you have brought us, where we've had our hopes and dreams full, our dreams fulfilled. Oh, the glorious things you've taught us, midst the pine trees and the wind. We will rise and call you blessed as we strive to serve mankind, and we raise our God each moment for the love in you we find, and we praise our God each moment for the love in you we true. We pledge our love and loyalty in gratitude to